Hey Chan. I forgot to put any monsters into the fridge because I'm an idiot. So I don't have any cold ones. God damn it! I have to. I put one in the freezer, and I'm gonna take it out in like 20-ish minutes, I think. That should be cool enough, I guess. We'll see. I think last time I accidentally left one in for like 40 minutes and it was fine. So maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Hello, AAD0732. How's it going? Alright. Let's play some Soylent Hill. I'm actually... last time I played with a controller, but I mean, that's completely pointless. I mean, this is just a... press this button, press that button type of game, so... whatever. Whatever. Alright. So let's see, I should have like some of this stuff. Okay, so I have this card. Can you actually not look at it? How does this work? Epic. Yo, Horizon. Well, not quite the same. This is more of a... how do you go? This is more of a visual novel in a way than a classic Silent Hill game. But I had fun with it last time I played it, so I got a couple cards unlocked. There are a bunch of scenarios, so like anything could really happen. Feels a little loud, but test. Seems really fucking loud. Is it? Why is it so loud? Turn it down a little. Actually, yeah, usually it's pretty loud, I think. Pretty quiet, I think that's why I had it pretty loud. I'll leave it as it is for now. We'll see. Hold on. Wait, what? Oh. The phone call that won't go through. I think I've already gone through this before. I'm just wondering if we could do like a different outcome. I think I've done. I think I've done like 2 different outcomes actually. This is the same stuff as the intro. This always happens the same way. Actually, maybe I should play as Harry. But no, okay, let's do one with Sybil for now. Like even here, I get like 2 different options. But they're both pretty much the same thing. You can either try to wake Harry up, but he'll wake up by himself anyways, I think. Yeah, like it doesn't really matter. Yeah. But then he just wakes up anyways if you try to wake him up. The man woke up with a look of surprise on his face. He shook his body in a way to brush Sybil's hands away, then stared at her. Human! Are you human? Sybil makes an effort to compose herself and then sits down on a nearby chair. Of course I am. Were you having a bad dream or something? The man finally regains his composure as well, and then adjusts his position on the bench seat. Sorry, I was attacked by mysterious monsters before I came here. Mysterious monsters? Oh yeah, it may have been just a dream. I think that it was real. It was all vague and unclear. Who are you? I'm Sybil Bennett. I'm a police officer from Browns, the next town over. All communications with this town suddenly went dead, so I came here to investigate. Harry's expression changed slightly to one of relief. I think they should have used the exact same text that's in the game to make it more coherent, but I should have said so sooner, but I'm Harry Mason. I'm a writer. I had decided to come here for my first vacation. For my first vacation in a while. Harry shrugged his shoulders and looked at Sybil with a serious look on his face. But when I arrived here, I got separated from my daughter. She's a little girl, 7 years old, with black hair. Her name is Cheryl. You haven't seen her, have you? Sorry, but I haven't. I see. Just where did she go? She is not the type to just act on her own. When I came to, I was lying on the street in front of this cafe. As for how I got here, I don't remember at all. That sounds a lot like what happened to me. Well, anyway. Harry stands up and glances at the out-of-season snow that continues to fall. I've got to look for Cheryl. There's no way I can just leave her here alone. I see. Well, here's my gun, just in case. As we are American, we like to share our weapons with each other. Here's the gun. Just use it, lol. But will you be alright? Harry, don't go shooting me by mistake or anything. I haven't had any training on how to stop bullets. She smiled after saying this, opened the door of the cafe, and then headed out into the thick fog. It'd be cool if there was an option to just not give him a weapon, because he's a doofus. Sybil looks back and sees that the cafe has disappeared into the fog. Having lost her motorcycle, Sybil can only wander about on foot, and alone in the eerie town. It's too quiet. There's no sense of anyone at all. I would like to hail a taxi or something, but there's not a single car running. At some point Sybil had began to run. Above all, she must get out of Soylent Hill. However, after running for a bit, Sybil's hopes were crushed. All the roads leading out of town were cut off, and it was as if the entire town was floating in the air. There was no way for anyone to enter the town. Ha! Sybil sighs deeply. She then decides to try going back the way she came. After running for a bit, she comes to another steep valley like before. It is wide and impedes her passage, and then she became sure that it was not possible to escape from this place. Sybil felt like a bird in a cage. She walked apathetically and aimlessly through the falling snow. It was not long before a black, wriggling object appeared in her field of vision. What is that? From off in the fog, the four-legged thing moved at a slow pace as it gradually closed the distance between it and her. And then, as soon as it detected Sybil, it began to ferociously run toward her, scattering the fog as it moved. The monster attacked Sybil. Kya! Sybil just manages to duck in time, and the fierce monster passes over her head. It continues forward just a little bit, then turns around. It is clear that it is coming after Sybil. Sybil places her hand on her belt to draw her handgun. She utters, "Oh!" She had just given her handgun to Harry not long ago. What a dumb cunt. She went pale. Sybil forcefully stands up and begins to run with all her strength. The sound of the monster's footsteps and its panting closes in on her as it persistently chases her from behind. She stomps on the pavement as she moves forward. In the center of her eye, Sybil sees buildings appear out and disappear into the fog. And at some point, she ends up losing her bearings and becomes unsure of her location. She then notices that she no longer senses the presence of the monster. She stops and leans against an antique lamppost and pressures her chest. She waits as the time between her continuous wide breaths gradually increases, and then begins walking again. Sybil is overcome with hopelessness. Being unable to escape from Soylent Hill, Sybil then worried about what she should do next. Since all the people have vanished, she cannot even talk to anyone about what is happening here. I should look for the police station. I should look for the police station. Even if the person I was talking to on the phone with earlier isn't there, I might be able to get some other information there. She has visited this town many times, following the thread of her memory. That sounds weird. She begins walking along the complicated, intersecting streets. Just how long have I been walking? As she saw the word police appear from out of the fog, her entire body was completely exhausted. She opens the glass door at the entrance and heads inside. As she does this, she sees that no one is here, which is just as she had expected. The lack of any sound is painful to her ears. After she walked around the reception area for a bit, she moved toward the room that door had been left open for. The plate beside the door says, "Meeting room." Compared to the same room at the Bram station, this one is quite small. She looked around the room. Clunk. At the same time, Sybil entered the room. One of the disorderly arranged folding chairs moved quite a bit. She readied herself. "Who's there?" It was this dumb fucking cunt with a gun that she gave him. And then this asshole actually fires at Sybil. Bang! The bullet grazes Sybil's temple and impacts on the wall of the meeting room. Shocked, Sybil sank to the floor. Sybil? All the color has drained out of the face of the man that is standing in front of the still unable to speak Sybil. It was unmistakable. It was this dumb cunt. Harry. "Sorry, are you alright?" I was shocked. If you had been just a little more over, then you would have hit me. Harry sighs deeply. I have done an unforgivable thing. I have encountered monsters up till now. I ran in here to get away. I was sure that the monsters had come in, Sybil thought. Please, don't mistake me for a monster. At any rate, I wondered if maybe someone might be here, so I came in to check it out. As you can see, things are like this. The inside of the station was ominously silent, even if the other officers were here, since there are monsters running loose. Outside, there's no reason for the two of them to just relax and warm up in the station. Let's look somewhere else. There should be a church just over the river. Maybe she is in custody. There. Oak. After muttering this, Harry holds the gun out to Sybil as if he had realized something. I will give this back to you. I have had a few opportunities to use it, but this seems more suited to me. Harry says this and readies a long steel pipe that he picked up somewhere. I see, but you would be better off just getting used to using it. Harry has a sorrowful look on his face. Sybil gives him a contemptuous glance, and then a smile appears on her face. Then she runs out of the station. On the way to the church, Harry tells Sybil about the events that occurred in the cafe while running out of breath. Indeed, something is wrong here, Sybil says that. I was glad to have received the handgun from you. Cheryl doesn't have any weapons. And she is just a little girl. Hoping that Cheryl would be at the church, Sybil carefully ran over the slippery asphalt. They open the heavy door of the church. The space inside is wrapped in warm calmness. It projects a very solemn feeling. No churchgoers are present on any of the long benches, which have been arranged facing the cross in front. Hello, Tosik. Perhaps no one is here. Thinking this, the two of them move forward further in. Eventually, they noticed a woman planted on a sample chair above the altar. Simple chair. Not sample chair. That doesn't make any fucking sense. What am I saying? You are too late. The woman mutters this and stands. You are too late. The girl that you are looking for just left here. The color of Harry's face changes. Cheryl? Was it Cheryl? She's a 7-year-old girl with black hair. The woman at the altar puts one hand up to silence Harry. Shut the fuck up! Even without saying this, you would understand. But I will tell you this much. The two of you will never see that girl again. My predictions are often correct. They are perceived from gyromancy. The girl knows what you are planning. Yes, she will head towards her goal without being found by you. She's just a young girl. She came to this town and then went missing. If she did come here, then why did you let her go alone? Sybil screamed at the woman. Oh dear, such words. I have no obligations or reason to protect that child, and also... She stops speaking and then comes down from the altar. She was not alone. My daughter is with her. Sybil frowned. Your daughter? My daughter. If those girls happen to be separated, then it would certainly be a pity. What is more, my daughter would most surely not remain Soylent Hill. Harry began to speak as if the floodgates had just been opened. What are you fucking getting at, fucking motherfucker? I am Cheryl's motherfucking guardian. I have the responsibility to protect her. Tell me where she's going. The hospital. But it is useless to follow after them. If you do not want to die, then you must leave this place. I am Dahlia Gillespie, by the way. I forgot to say that at the beginning. If you do not wish to increase the number of corpses, then do not disturb those girls, yes? Before Dahlia finished speaking, Harry ran out of the church. Harry, wait! Sybil prepares to chase after him and looks back at Dahlia. Dahlia was there, trying to suppress a laugh. All Sybil saw was Dahlia's unsightly backside.
In order to resurrect myself, I will need your body. Please understand this. I understand. That is why I came here and came to see you. To think of these 7 years, I never once was able to get out of bed and couldn't even move. However, everything is going according to plan, and I was able to be reunited with you. But they will come after us. What should we do? Let me take care of everything. Once Sybil caught up to Harry, he was having a difficult time breathing. Are you alright? That woman, Dahlia or something. Harry placed one hand on his chest, stopped in the street, and placed his other hand on a car. I don't know for sure, but I have a feeling that that wasn't the first time I met that woman. Long ago, I think I met her somewhere. Harry says this and begins coughing.
My wife was sick.
I gotta lubricate my throat.
Actually, my phone is gonna yell at me in a little bit about that monster. Maybe I'll extend to like 15. I'll put on snooze, because I mean, I don't think it was in there for long enough. Let's make it extend it to like, let's extend it to another 10 minutes. Okay, that should be enough. Okay. Harry thought, "You don't look so good." Harry, you don't look so good. I don't know why I got the thought from Harry, you don't look so good. Sybil, the air seems to have gotten thin here or something. I just have to deal with it. Harry. Harry begins to talk again. Harry begins coughing violently. Let's pick talk again, because I have picked violently last time, like every time. Well, it's alright. A town in which snow is falling. The name Dahlia, and her daughter is with my daughter. The fact... What? The fact that they are together. He lifts his head and looks at Sybil. There's something that I think I know, but it's on the tip of my butt, but I cannot remember it. Sybil softly places her hand on Harry's shoulder. You're tired, Harry. Let's rest for a bit. Harry brushes Sybil's hand away and then begins walking while pressing one hand to his chest. Harry? Sybil once again follows behind Harry's frozen back. Unable to make out the letters on the old signboard, Sybil tries squinting. Alcoholic Hospital is written on the faded paint, written in blood. In this building, Cheryl and Dahlia's daughter are in here. Sybil? In this building, Cheryl and Dahlia's daughter are in here? The hospital looks like ruins, and an eeriness is present that makes one hesitant to even step inside. Sybil just happens to notice an object that looks like a pedestal next to the door. On the top of it, plates of 4 different colors have been placed. Sybil reads the message inscribed on the pedestal aloud. The chosen ones must be moved to the chosen place. Once the task is complete, the guidepost leading to the chaos shall appear. Use L and R buttons to select a plate. Use the D-pad to move the selected plate. Wait, how does this work again? Oh. Heart puzzle.
Harry opened the door, although they came as told. Inside the hospital it is dark, and it seems that if one does not walk carefully, then they would stumble. Pictures hanging on the walls, withered plants on the receptionist's desk, and other furnishings can be faintly seen. Is your daughter really in this place? I don't know, but all we can do is trust that woman from before. We don't have any other clues. Harry spoke, not expecting a reply. He slowly turned the knob of a nearby door. It appears to be locked. He lets out a long sigh. Fuck. Wait, Harry. Let's split up and search. I will start from the top floor and search heading down. You start from the bottom, then we meet up in the middle. That way we won't lose each other. Harry looked woeful. Sorry, I wish there was something I could do to thank you. Once we find your daughter, then you can take me out to dinner or something. Sybil smiled brightly. Harry immediately looked at her and did that weird face that he usually does, and then was like, yeah, sure. Sybil immediately began to run toward the wall at the end of the corridor. Once she arrived at the third floor, which should be the top floor of the building, she caught her breath and then began to search for the girl. Sybil begins to walk along the concrete wall that is dimly lit by the outside light. Several doors are on the left and the right of the passage. Each door has a 3-digit number plate on it, and without even looking inside, she can tell that they are hospital rooms. Ooh, is she some kind of fucking genius? Like, I wonder what kind of room these might be in the hospital. Could they be classroom? No, wait, not classrooms. No, Cheryl, if you're there, come out. Your daddy is looking for you. Daddy. Thank you, Daddy. Goodbye. Sybil's voice just reverberates and then fades into the air. She places her hand on the knob of one of the doors and turns it. It appears to be locked. Oh my god, this is totally like I'm playing Soylent Hill. All the fucking doors are locked all the time. Maybe Cheryl is in one of the rooms and locked it from the inside. But if Sybil's voice cannot reach her, just how should I search for Cheryl? That's it. Sybil thinks of something. If I use this key, if I use the hospital intercom, let's use this key. I don't think I did that before. The key to the hospital rooms should be at the reception area. Then I can open the doors and search each room for her. Okay. To realize this, after coming up to the third floor, Sybil races back down the stairs that she just ran up, in order to return to the first floor. On the way down the stairs, Sybil heard footsteps as she was passing the second floor. Harry? The second floor is on the same as the third. What? The second floor is the same as the third. There is a central corridor with doors lined up on both walls. Harry? Is that you, Harry? There's a large window at the end of the hall. White light from the foggy outside is reflecting off the floor. Without realizing it, Sybil squinted. But someone is standing in front of the window. And then they disappear. From the shape of the outline of the human visible in the darkness, Sybil can tell that it is not Harry. It looks like a girl. Well, never mind, it could be Harry, I guess. Ha ha ha. But XD. Sybil just stared at the figure and was unable to move for a bit, just like a frog being stared down by a snake. All her movements were sealed. Cheryl? Who knows how long it was before she said that. The girl did not answer and began moving towards Sybil as if she was gliding. Slowly she continued moving towards Sybil. Eventually the girl twisted her body and jerked her right hand. She made her hand into a fist, created a large bullet of light, and then looked at Sybil. "What? Watch out, Sybil! Get down!" It is Harry's voice. At the moment Sybil drops down, the bullet of light slices through the air and impacts into something behind her. Well, that takes care of one of them. The girl vanishes. Sybil turns and sees Harry laying face down, holding his hand to his chest. "Harry!" He's struggling as hard as he can to reach his hand out to Sybil. Sybil rushes over to him and sits him up. "Harry, I thought that something was wrong. By the time I realized, too late." "Harry, don't talk." Harry's body becomes heavy. "Sybil, I'm done for. Please don't. Won't you help Cheryl? That girl from before? That wasn't Cheryl, was it? That was... Harry, hold on." Talks about the girl, stops moving. So he can either die, talk more about the girl. I'm gonna pick this one because I don't think I've done this one. I don't think I've done C yet. Harry calls for forth the last of his strength, opens his eyes wide. "Sybil, look out!" The dim corridor lit with blindingly bright light, and Sybil's shadow extends forward. Sybil turns and notices the girl has another bullet of light in her hand. "Stop it, Cheryl! No more!" Summoning the last of his strength, Harry crawls towards the girl, and when she sees her face in the light, a mysterious look appears on her face as if he has remembered something and realized something. "Why are you..." The girl swings her arm down, and at the same time Harry's scream echoes. The area flashes with life. Harry is gone, and the floor tile where he was had been burned black. Now only Sybil and the girl are in the corridor. Sybil gasps. She flees with all her might. She must fight. Let's flee. I have to run. That is not a human. It is not something that I stand a chance against. Sybil summons all the strength she can muster and begins to run down the hall. The stairs. Were the stairs really this far away? No matter how much she runs, gets the feeling that she's not moving forward. Is the floor moving? And is this because of that girl's power? Light flashes from behind Sybil. Light flashes from behind Sybil. It hits the wall and cracks it. The tiles have come off. A scene that she has not seen before approaches right in front of her eyes. From black to white, however, it is not a sacred flame, but the fires that light hell. Her clothes, hair, and skin are enveloped in a great light. Okay. I need to grab my drink in a bit. I think I can finish this and then grab it. Okay. She cannot look back. If she looks back, she will die. However, she's at her limit. Sorry, Harry, sorry. When she came to, Sybil was sleeping on a small bench in the cafe. Cheryl is standing next to her, gazing out the window at the steadily falling snow. What? A bike is waiting outside of the cafe for Sybil. Its engine is running. Cheryl smiles brightly at Sybil, opens the door of the cafe, and disappears into the fog. Sybil runs out after her. Huh? What? The fuck just happened? Okay. Well, there you go. That's another ending, I guess. That was weird. It's just... Is it just like a never-ending nightmare? One thing I don't know, one thing I just never... I've never known is why is Sybil in Silent Hill, like... What's the reason for her being there, I guess? Because, I mean... Isn't it usually people who've committed some kind of crime that end up there? I don't know. Alright, I'm gonna grab my drink.
She's a fucking police officer from Brams, the next town over. Maybe because she's a cop. She did have like some family trauma, I think. That's the idea. That's why she's in the force, if I remember right. Like her parents got killed. That's actually one of the endings in this, where she kind of like dies and then she experiences her own funeral, where her parents and like sisters and shit like that are there. For like her own funeral. Oh man, doing that voice hurts my throat in the long run, so I don't think I'll do it again. Or maybe it's just, I don't know. Yeah, why not? Alright. Let's go for another round. This time I want to play as Harry. Let's do a round of Harry. I didn't unlock any cards. Wait, what? Okay. Let's do Harry. I've already like gone through this in the past, so I'm gonna skip through this and then just pick it up from like the new stuff. Also, I can't read, so wow 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 wow. Whoa, that was some good. I don't know what the fuck is up with this, but look at this. Look at that shit. I don't know what's up with that. That's the MSI Afterburner. I don't know why it's like that. What book is Cheryl reading? I have no idea. Should I look at it? I can restart it. Actually, yeah, I could restart it. I don't know. How do you restart it?
How do you restart this shit? Doesn't that like there should be a restart button. Fuck. What the oh, there we go. Reset. Research. This is still fucked up. I don't know why it's like that. I don't know. It's weird. Okay. Oh, what the fuck? Bro, we just skipped right through it. What the hell? Okay, what the fuck? It made like a weird save that just skips the entire beginning section. That's stupid. It's almost as stupid as Harry. Does that mean I can't like go through it again? Because if I kind of don't dare click on new game, because that should just override it, right? Alright, whatever. Maybe next time. Soylent Hill, this town, which should just be a resort area. Okay, let's get to the point where okay, Cheryl's destination is. There's that one in town. Let's go with that one. I think I've gone through this before. I think this is just the nightmare section. Let's get out of here. I've got to get away, but I can't go back the way I came because that eerie presence is back there. So move further in. What the fuck? Why did you give me an option then? Dead end. Okay. I suddenly awoke. What is this place? Why am I here? Was I brought here by someone? There's no boundary between dream and reality, just confusion. As I lay on the bench seats in the cafe, my eyes slowly begin to focus. The woman sitting at the counter stands and folds her arms. She walks over and looks down at me. She's looking down at me like she's better or something. She's wearing a police uniform. The woman smiles a little bit as she appears to be relieved that I have regained consciousness. It looks like you've come around. Who are you? I tried talking to the unfamiliar woman. I'm Sybil Bennett. I'm here because all the communication with this town suddenly went dead, and so I came to investigate. I'm Harry Mason. I brought my daughter to this town for some sightseeing, but on the way there was an accident, and I lost consciousness. Oh yeah, Sybil, haven't you seen a little girl in this town, have you? Yeah, you haven't. A little girl? No, I haven't seen her. When I came to after the accident, my daughter was nowhere to be seen. The passenger door was open and she was gone. Cheryl? Sorry, my daughter's name is Cheryl. She's a timid person, so it's hard to imagine that she headed out into this weird town alone. Plus I was there in the driver's seat, and since she gave me no warning, it just doesn't make any sense. Are you familiar with this area? There's no sign of anyone, and what is going on with the snow at this time of year? Just what in the world has happened in this town? I said all of this while breathing deeply, and Sybil's like, can you just slow down? I'm afraid I don't know either. I still haven't seen anyone other than you. It's like this town is as silent as the name suggests. What's up, Shudder? As a graveyard, left without even the means to contact any neighboring towns. I see.
You also had an accident, right? I thought it was a good idea to head to the police station in this town alone on my motorcycle. But I guess I was going a little too fast. Heck, yep. A girl suddenly jumped out into the road. I'm pretty sure it was a girl. I almost hit her, but I did not. I cut the handlebars hard in order to avoid her. After that, I can barely remember anything. When I came to, I was lying in the street in front of this cafe, so naturally I came in here to get out of the snow, and then I found you sleeping in there. I was having some kind of terrible dream. As for if I made it here on my own, I don't remember at all. I just what in the world has happened in this town? What's going on here? What's going on with everything? Well, the situation is definitely strange. I will head back to Bram's for reinforcements and then return here. How about you? Sybil stood and fixed her collar with resolute fortitude. I've got to look for Cheryl. There's no way I can just leave her here alone. I see. Well, I'll give you this then. You never know what might happen under these circumstances. If you feel threatened, then pull the trigger without hesitating. I take the gun into my hand. Thanks, I hope I don't have to use it. Thank you, but I'm no good with guns. Thank you, but I'm no good with guns. I haven't even touched one. I can't handle it. Amazed, Sybil takes a deep breath. It's simple. I'll show you how to use it. See, first hold it in your right hand, then place your forefinger on the trigger. I reluctantly followed her instructions. Like this. Then I shot Sybil in the head. She started bleeding all over the place. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Where was I? Yeah, now okay. Yes, now place your, okay, like this? Yes. Now place your left hand on your right hand so that it doesn't move. Then all you have to do is slide this, fix your aim, and then pull the trigger. Like this. I shot her in the eye again. Now there's another hole just bleeding all over the place. Bang, the bullet grazes Sybil's cheek, and then what? And penetrates the wall of the cafe. One of pictures on the wall falls. Hey! You need to watch it. Hey, watch it, buddy. I'm sorry, I was just doing what you said, and it just... No, it's not. And it's just a few centimeters over, and you would have been a murderer. I lost even more self-confidence. Well, it's alright. Please use it carefully. What the fuck? He almost kills her and like, doesn't matter. You'll get better. Just keep using it. Please use it carefully. Well then, I'm going. The sound of the door closing reverberated woefully inside the cafe. Wow. After being left alone in the cafe, I gazed at the handgun Sybil gave me for a little while, and then I thought about Cheryl, who had disappeared in this town. The figure I saw in the fog, that was definitely Cheryl, but she didn't answer my calls, and she was quite possibly moving away from me. I don't understand. I'm getting a bit mixed up. Still, the one thing I know for sure is that Cheryl has vanished in this town. All I can do is look for her. I may not even have any knowledge of the surroundings or any clues, but I won't find Cheryl if I stay here. I stood up energetically and placed my hand on the cafe door. Something is making noise. Nani? What is that noise? Somewhere inside the cafe, somewhere outside the cafe. It's somewhere outside the cafe, obviously. Outside, I open the door and hurry out into the street. The snow still continues to fall.
I breathe in the cold outside air, and it feels like waking up. The noise I just heard until now had stopped. Is the wind drowning it out? My question was soon answered. Through the glass I can see that the radio has been placed on top of a table inside the cafe. Is it that? I immediately went back inside the cafe. The noise has stopped. Thinking that it may come in handy for something, I slide the portable radio into my pocket and then once again walk toward the cafe's exit. Hold on a second. So like, if you're playing, let's say you're playing Silent Hill 1, this could work. Why don't we just do this? Why the fuck? This stupid fucking Harry, why does he need to go back to the stupid fucking radio, right? Hey, what's that? Radio. What's going on with radio? Or like, if you're playing FDS, it's like, what's that? Radio. What's going on with the radio? And then he looks at the radio and then, gets attacked. If he just went outside first, without checking the fucking radio, right? There'd be nothing, and then he'd figure out he's stupid. So he goes back inside, radio is silent, takes the radio, leaves. No fight. No fighting between man and man. Much better. God damn it. Stupid game. After leaving the cafe, I decided to first head toward that alley from before. Huh? Black figures fly about in the heavens as if searching for prey. I then come to realize as a constant. What? Black figures fly about in the heavens as if searching for prey. I then come to realize a constant. The static. Oh, a constant. Oh, I see. Okay. I didn't read the rest of it. The static on the radio changes based on their movements. The closer the monsters come to me, the louder the static gets. My sight is hindered by the fog, and on top of that, the weather is so bad that the snow is falling. So this is extremely important information. I wonder where these this is this like from in game? Is this like in the game? Is it like an in-game render, or is this fucking like a 3D CGI render, or what is this? I have no idea. It looks kind of cool, I think. I run through the snow that appears to have no intention of stopping, increasing my speed each time the static comes in on the radio. I proceed into the fog. Following the thin thread of my memory, I finally arrive at the alley from before. The evil atmosphere has dissipated and the light pours in along, with snow from in between the buildings. I move into the alley and it dead ends after a bit. And at the end of the alley, I see a familiar sketchbook that appears to have been thrown away. The likeness of me that Cheryl drew is on the cover of the sketchbook. This is definitely Cheryl's sketchbook. Opens. To school. I try opening it. Inside the following is written in red ink. To school. She's at the school. Along Levin Street, I slip through the back door of a house that had a doghouse and then head for the school. The surroundings gradually fill with darkness, and only the flashlight on my chest illuminates the strange street. It's kind of weird how you just sort of skip through the entire, puzzle of collecting keys and, Levin Street doghouse. It's just like faintly mentioned that, oh yeah, this is a house with a doghouse. That's where I went through, but nothing about a key. Actually, now that I think about it, didn't this game come out before Silent Hill 1? Because I wonder if that's why it's so different. Hold on. Let me see when this came out. I thought it came out later. No, it must have come out later, because the GBA only came out in 2001, so the GBA wasn't even out yet. When did this come out? I think 2001, right? Probably it's like a launch title or something. Soylent Hill play novel. For fuck's sake. When did it come out? Oh my god, where's the fucking Wikipedia page, motherfucker? Dude, does this game not have a Wikipedia page? I feel like it doesn't. There isn't. Like there's Silent Hill, and then within the Silent Hill listing they have a fucking... Seriously? What the hell? Why does Play Novel not have its own Wikipedia page? That's kind of weird. It says March 21st, 2001, so yeah, much later. For a second there, I thought that the reason they wouldn't have the detailed puzzle in this version is because the OG game hasn't come out yet, but that doesn't make any sense because this came out much later, like 2 years after. So yeah. Alright, where was I? With darkness and only the flashlight on my chest illuminates this strange street. I passed through the entrance to the elementary school grounds. When I open the door that leads into the school building, I see that even more darkness is waiting for me inside. It is possible that Cheryl scribbled those letters to school. I can't be sure whether Cheryl is here or not. It's just that I haven't a clue other than that sketchbook. It's weird how this one is more written in Harry's own style, like it's all Harry's thoughts, whereas the Sybil one is kind of more like a storyteller is telling you what's happening instead of her. A guide map of the school has been tacked to the side wall of the entrance with a rusted thumbtack. After removing the map from the wall, I place it in my pocket and push open the heavy door that leads into the interior of the school building. Cool. My footsteps and the creaking of the hallway, they sound like screams as their reverberations rock my eardrums. I had been walking carefully step by step, but without realizing I had begun to run. There's no sign of anyone. The silent innards of the school building are dark, and with only the flashlight on my chest, it is impossible for me to see any of the details. Cheryl doesn't have a flashlight, so if she came in here and got lost, then she probably wouldn't even be able to walk around. Is the game not too loud compared to me, by the way? Could turn it down a little bit. I guess this is the loudest it really ever gets with this music. Since I have my flashlight turned on, she should be able to notice me easily. At least I have that modest hope. Then I notice that I have come to the entrance to the music room. I place my hand on the heavy door and then start randomly pressing keys on the piano. When I open the door, I see that the inside of the room is large and there is a grand piano placed in its center. As I sit on the chair of the piano, I'm shocked. The seat is still warm, as if someone had been sitting here just a few minutes before. Cheryl's smile runs through the back of my mind. Cheryl often played the cheap upright piano in our home. It had become nice background music when I was working. Perhaps Cheryl had come to the music room. I gently open the cover of the piano keys. I notice that there is red mixed among the black and white. I tried touching the liquid. It has a lukewarm feel to it. It is still holding heat. It is definitely blood, written in blood. My heart pounds in my chest like an alarm bell. The large amount of blood spilled on the keys. If this is Cheryl's blood, then she may no longer be alive.
I wipe the stain off my hands onto my jeans, stand and leave the music room. At the same time I closed the door, I thought I heard someone scream. Maybe it was just my imagination? I walk down the hallway. The sleety mixture of snow pounds hard against the windows facing the courtyard. I take a look through the window down at the dark courtyard. The not-so-large courtyard dotted with areas in which withered plants are growing, in addition to that old clock tower, is faintly visible from here. From here I cannot determine what time the clock is pointing to. How do you do, like, save state? I forgot how you do that. Last time I played it was, like, at the end of July. Holy shit, that was... Jesus, that's, like, 1.5 months ago. Doesn't feel like that long ago. What the hell? Oldest slot, Control S. Okay. Okay. It's like, you just save like that, Control S. I think so. Okay. Wait, something appears to be wriggling about in the darkness. An animal? No, it's dark and I can't see so well, but it's slowly moving on 2 legs. It is Harry Mason. It appears to be searching for prey. At that moment, he knew he fucked up. The radio I had clipped to my chest suddenly began making noise. As I returned my sight to the hallway, a sharp pain runs through my thigh. When I look down, I see that the tips of those long claws are piercing my thigh. Those oddly shaped monsters, they are posed like they want to hug me. And have gathered around my waist. They are about to bite me. Okay, I instantly pushed the monster away with my hands, readied the handgun and fired. I can't remember what I chose last time. That's the problem, because I haven't played it in like 1.5 months. Okay, so I push it away, it like falls on its face, completely surrounded by those monsters. I readied the gun, I fixed my aim on their heads, and pulled the trigger with my trembling index finger. I continued to shoot, as each of them appears. The smoke from the gunpowder began to fill the air around me, so I placed one hand over my mouth. Bam, 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 bam. Even after the noise from the radio had stopped, I could only stand there, paralyzed in utter amazement among their corpses. Is Cheryl alright? She shouldn't have been carrying anything that could be used as a weapon. I began running. I can't just stand around. There is not a moment to lose. Cheryl is waiting for me. Wait a minute. Suddenly my vision became hazy or something, and I rubbed my eyes. Turns out it was just meat-eating bacteria. When I look back, I see that all the bodies of the monsters have unexpectedly vanished. What? Was I hallucinating or something? I pulled the guide map out of my inner pocket and shine the flashlight on it. And then I confirmed that there's a boiler room located in the basement. Why is that important, Harry? I don't understand see the connection to this. My feet naturally began to take me there. Why? You see, like, maybe in this universe, Harry is a... He's like a heating technician. He's like a... What's that called? Like a
Is it a water technician? I don't know. He's just like, time to go to work. I descend the stairs to the basement, taking one step at a time. A school building without light. As I move forward, I am beset on all sides by absolute darkness. As I head towards new fear and new enemies, my feet have no intention of stopping their advance. But oddly enough, I don't have a sense of justice. I just want to make sure that Cheryl is safe. To catch her in my arms. That is my only goal. Just one thing. Leave Cheryl out of this. That's all I ask. The boiler is not running. If I simply press the switch in front of me, then this eerie machine should begin operating. However, I just stand still. Why do you want to turn on the boiler exactly? I don't. Is it because like is that like a heater, like for the radiators or something, or like what's going on? I try pushing the switch, but the boiler doesn't do anything at all. So I try opening the switchboard cover below the switch. It appears that I must somehow supply power from the main power supply to the boiler. The power supply is on the right. From the left of the switchboard, a thick pipe extends out and is connected to the boiler. Oh, fuck. Okay. So it's coming from here, right? So... how many can I turn on? Fuck, okay, that's too many. Can we just do it from here, I guess? Fuck, that's too much, okay. What? Hold on. Through here, maybe? I think there's gonna be too many. Wait. What am I doing wrong? Fuck, what? Oh wait, I can go from there to there, I think. Hold on. I didn't see that. From this to this. There you go. You got it. I have an instinctive feeling that by pushing this switch, that something outrageous may happen. Although at the same time, I also notice my daughter Cheryl's scream run through my heart like a sense of duty that makes me feel that I must push the switch. Is this like... I don't understand why he's so obsessed with this. I slowly push the switch in. The entire school building shudders as if it were a giant ship. The entire elementary school building appears as if it had been swallowed by Cheryl's heart as she stands alone in the darkness. Can you stop being such a writer for a second, Harry? Come on. I understand that. I must do something. To the courtyard! The darkness softly whispers to me. Okay. The clock tower looks to be about tall enough to reach the 3rd floor of the school. At its base, there is a small door about big enough for an adult to enter, bent down. Okay, one sec.
Alright. The door solemnly opened. After opening the door, seems to become the one standing in front of it. I need to resist that power. Wait, what was it? Hold on. What? No. Wait. Wait. Okay, so the door solemnly opened. After opening the door, seems to become the one standing in front of it to enter with an irresistible mental energy. I cannot resist that power because I don't have a lot of mental energy. As I enter, the door closes with a hopeless thunder. Okay. Inside the clock tower, a physiologically loathsome stench hung in the air. However, the smell of my beloved daughter is a daughter in my heart lessens my uneasiness and lets me forget my fear, if even for only a moment. Reassured, I place my foot on the ladder leading on the ground with my greatest motive called love. Then inside finally became a small passage about large enough for an adult. I run, trusting that I will see her smile ahead. I run forward, stomping on concrete stained with the smell of death. Once I climb the ladder at the end of the tunnel, there will be no going back. I mutter Cheryl's name one more time. Okay. The depressing sound of the door closing echoes throughout the courtyard. Where am I? A raw, warm breeze brushes past my cheeks. The view lets me know that this is like a completely different world from the school I was just in. Once again, I think, where am I? Descending the small stairs leading away from the clock tower, and become even more convinced. An extremely religious-looking design has been drawn in the center of the courtyard, with a large double circle as a triangle has been placed. What? Within a large double circle, a triangle has been placed, and within that, a strange pattern that looks like hieroglyphics is drawn. I don't remember this being here before. I mutter, this is definitely the school I was just in. The placement of the trees and the construction of the building. However, an overpowering feeling of nausea rises up throughout my body. A revolting, horrible smell like that of a stench of cutting into rotten meat thickly wafts throughout the air and is nearly visible to the eye. I begin to run. I can no longer bear to stay in this spot. By the time I place my hand on the door that leads inside the school building, I no longer have the strength left to tell how long I was running. Maybe it was only for an instant. The school building has dramatically changed. Metal grated floors, blood-covered walls, corpse-like puppets hanging everywhere. It's like a nightmarish scene in which everything is isolated from the real world. In spite of that, I run. I'm searching for Cheryl. The unpleasant metallic sounds of my footsteps resonate throughout the inside of the school. And then I open the door to the teacher's room. Perhaps the door is not installed correctly, as it took me several forceful tries to force it open. Once I enter the room, I am shocked. Desks are strewn about, and a raw, rotten stench rules the room. I call the police to get help, or call home where no one should be. Let's call the police, because we're stupid. With slight hope, I picked up the telephone receiver. Just as I had guessed, the depressing busy signal just repeats over and over. As I gently hung up the telephone receiver, I realized that all means for contacting the outside world have already been lost. I must find Cheryl right away and escape from this insane world with her. I begin to leave the room. My heart rapidly contracts. The mechanical bell sound echoes throughout the room. I nervously approach the telephone and once again pick up the receiver. Daddy, help me. It's Cheryl. There's no mistaking it. I firmly press the receiver against my ear. Daddy, where are you? Cheryl, is this Cheryl? At that moment, Cheryl's voice replaced with a busy signal. I knew it. I think Cheryl is here. Being located in the residential area, many children probably come to this school. The interior of the elementary school is larger than I imagined. Including classrooms, there are a lot of rooms, so locating Cheryl will be extremely difficult. If Cheryl wasn't brought here by someone, and instead came here of her own free will, then perhaps she might be in that one room. I spin around and run to the stairs at the end of the hall, and then sprint up them. I've come to the library, and my eyes are drawn to the open book here. It was a children's book, pharmaceutical book, dictionary of religious science. I think... So like the right option here, according to the game, you know, that would be like children's book. I think last time I picked dictionary of religious science, probably. I'm gonna pick children's book. Let's see what happens if you do that. I pick up the book and see an abstract illustration of a youth carrying a bow and arrow on its cover. Someone has been reading this book. I began to read the book from the beginning of the page it was left open to in a quiet voice. Hearing this, the hunter, armed with a bow and arrow, said, "I will kill the lizard." But upon meeting his opponent, he held back, taunting. Who's afraid of a reptile? At this, the furious lizard hissed, "I'll swallow you up in a single bite." Then the huge creature attacked, jaws opened wide. This was what the man wanted. Calmly drawing his bow, he shot into the lizard's gaping mouth. Effortlessly the arrow flew, piercing the defenseless maw, and the lizard fell down dead. This is an old fairy tale. I remember reading it as a kid. As I say this, I take a step back as if I have realized something. Wait, I think I become gripped with the sense that my actions have been controlled by someone this entire time, kind of like a video game. Coming to the library, seeking that specific page in the open book, even whatever is that I must do now, is a decision that is out of my hands. Everything that has happened has been in someone's hands. I have gradually come to understand this, because someone with a PlayStation controller or / Game Boy Advance buttons is controlling my actions. I probably cannot determine my own course. I accept the direction of the unseen one, to whom I must obey in order to find Cheryl. There is no other alternative. I now know where it is I need to go. As I journey there, I walk firmly, stepping forward one step at a time. I descend the staircase from which uncomfortably warm air flows and find an elevator at its base that invites to descend even further as its doors slowly open. Once I enter, its doors close, and in the next moment, with a rusty clunk sound, that's a nice clunk, the elevator begins to descend at a high rate of speed. Just how far down is it going? All I can do is go with the flow. Gradually the elevator and I are enveloped in hot, humid air. The elevator stops and I step off as its doors open. Beyond the short passage, a dazzling light emitted from a small room which has been waiting for my arrival. In the center of the fires of hell burned, and everything made it look like this room was meant for prayer. And then it was there. It slowly moved around the enormous cone from which flames and ash rose. The lizard looks to have suddenly mutated. Its outer shell is a mucous membrane type. It just stares at me, and with surprisingly comfortable speed, it looks for a chance to attack. Here, I fire the gun at its large body. I am no match for this enemy with the weapons I am carrying, running. You can't run away though, like that's the thing, you're kinda just stuck here, but have I tried that? I can't remember, I can't remember what I picked anymore on my first playthrough. Well, like, I can't be bothered like looking up the video to see what I picked. So I think we'll just like pick whatever the fuck. I think I'm gonna go with Okay, let's try fleeing and see what happens, I guess. Why is it lagging now? I was overwhelmed by its size. I've got to escape. Hello? Stop lagging? Why is it lagging? You need to stop lagging, dude. Maybe I'll close a couple of things. I don't know. It's a fucking GBA game. Okay, there we go. I was overwhelmed by its size. I've got to escape. I don't stand a chance with the feeble weapon in my pocket. I look for an escape route, however the entrance I came through is now closed by a thick, solid metal fence without any opening which I could slide through. I cannot escape. At that moment, a part of my memory was suddenly awakened. Definitely. In the library. Was it the library? I think it was the library. I remember the book I just picked up not too long ago. Its contents run about in my head. While paying very close attention to the movements of my opponent, I recall its passages. Effortlessly, the arrow flew, piercing the defenseless maw, and the lizard fell down dead. All I can do is draw my opponent closer. Each bullet that hits its body only seems to increase its strength. I'm running. My entire body is soaked in sweat. The heat from the flames and the large amount of perspiration are working together to rob me of my emotional strength. And then my feet finally get tangled and I fall to the bone-dry floor with a thud. Kinda like blink. You know that funny sound from SH1? My supply of bullets is running out. This is my limit. I turn around. Its enormous mouth is there, measuring about 4 meters. What kind of American is he? Come on. That's about like... I don't know. 10 feet? I don't know. 12 feet? Whose feet? I don't know, but someone's feet. And open in all directions. It was only for an instant, but I thought of that passage again. The arrow flew, piercing the defenseless one. I like how much time he has to think about all this shit. Fire into its mouth. I'll stop its movement first. I fired at its legs. No, okay. I'm actually kind of curious what happens if we do that. So I'm gonna do this stupid shit. Let's fire at its legs. The legs. If I can stop its movement, then I will be free to do as I like to finish it. I aimed at its foreleg and fired one shot. Although I hit dead on, it appears to be meaningless. On the contrary, it increased its speed and persistently pursued me as I trip on my own feet. I only have a few rounds left. While waiting for my greatest chance, I was doing my best to keep my distance from it, but the heat from the hell fires had me on verge of passing out, and then I was chased into a corner of the room before I realized it. I have already lost the willpower to fight back, and it stands in front of me with its mouth open wide. With resignation, I silently close my eyes. What? The fuck? We didn't have to defeat it, we can just lose, that's fine. Motherfucker. Fuck. Oh my god, I was ready to... what the fuck? I was ready to... Oh my god. I was ready to call it. That was it. That was it. We were dead. And then... Oh no, we're fine. Motherfucker. Okay. When I came to, I found myself in the middle of a dark room. Where is this? I wondered to myself. The monster from before has vanished. I heavily stood up and then waited motionless for a bit until my eyes came into focus. Somehow this looks to be the boiler room. It is oddly quiet. Maybe I was dreaming? Was I dreaming? Was that another dream? My very exhausted body seems to have also recovered somehow. The low hum of the boiler strangely calms my nerves. And then I sense the presence of a person, and I shift my gaze. There was a girl standing there. She was wearing dark blue clothing, and her light brown hair was neatly combed. The girl was just staring at me.
Once I noticed her, I began to step towards her. She completely disappeared, as if her body just dissolved into the air in the room. I was alone in the room again. What? What was that? Who in the hell was that? A strange feeling of relief. After standing for a bit, I let out a long breath and then placed my hand on the door at the entrance. Sunlight is shining into the hall of the school building. As usual, the snow is still outside, but I'm gripped with a strange feeling of relief, as if cancerous cells had just been removed from me. Filled with relief, I slowly walked toward the exit of the school building, and then I learned that Cheryl is not here. From the loud sounds of the church bells that seemed to call out to me, I began to run toward the church, on a road half covered in mud. Snow falls above my head, some of which freezes my hair as chilly air flows by. When I reach, some of it freezes the grease and the dandruff in my hair. When I reach the church, I push open the heavy door without hesitation. Nani? A cross is mounted on the front wall. Long benches are lined up on both sides of a small walkway. It was as if time had stopped for this familiar style church. I'm gonna lubricate my throat a little bit. Okay. In front of the altar, a sly-looking woman with cold eyes looks down at me, with an eerie grin. As I walked up to her, stepping one step at a time, she gazed at me without blinking. She looked as if she had predicted that I would arrive. Now, would this prediction have come by any sort of gyromancy by any means? Oh. Umbrella Jill! I knew you'd come. It was foretold by gyromancy. Thank you very much for the raid. Thank you. How's it going, gamers? Did you finish Michigan? It wasn't. She foretold it. She can foretell anything you want. Welcome in, Raiders. How's it going? Some things are missing from the European version. Yeah, that's true. I actually played the Japanese version once. It's got like different graphics for some reason. I don't know why. Like more graphical effects. It's really weird. I don't know why. It even came out like first, I think. Yeah, it's like a kind of a more flashy looking version, but it doesn't have English voice acting, so it's missing the number one thing that makes it great. But yeah, welcome in. We're playing Soylent Hill play novel on the GBA. It's freaking wild. I've played it like a month and a half ago. But there are so many different outcomes you can get that I just, I gotta play it more and then see what else happens. Were you ringing that bell? The woman snorted with a humph. That's what it sounded like. I've been expecting you. It was foretold by gyromancy. What are you talking about? I knew you'd come. You want the girl, right? The girl? You're talking about Cheryl. My eyes grew wide. I see everything. You know something? Tell me. Stay back. The woman held the palm of her hand out at me and then lowered her chin in a way that suggested, please calm down. That's a thing? People lower their chin to suggest that you should calm down. Nothing is to be gained by floundering about at random. You must follow the path of the hermit, concealed by flowers. What the fuck are you talking about? I asked once more without hiding my bewilderment. Here, the flowers, a cage of peace, It can break through the walls of darkness and counteract the wrath of the underworld. These will help you. Make haste to the hospital before it's too late. The woman held up a strange object and then softly placed it on the desk on top of the altar. Wait! Don't go yet! I will believe that woman's story. Her story was unclear, and I don't understand it. I cannot carelessly believe her. I thought that insane woman's behavior and the details of her story were questionable. All that remains in the church is the reverberations of the sound of a door closing. Oh yeah, that's so weird. So like, apparently you can do things completely differently than how you do it in like Sound Hill 1 on PS1. So I thought we were gone. I thought we were dead. Like that. There's that one boss fight in the school where you fight the split head, and I got knocked down on the ground. I was like, well, that's it, game over. This is how it's gonna end. And then it just moved on after that. I don't know. Like we didn't get eaten or something, or it was just a dream apparently. I don't know. That's not how it happens in the PS1 version though. Why can't it happen like that? You could just, it'd be good for speedrunning. Like for example, you could skip the first fight in the cafe. I go after that woman. I'm convinced that that woman definitely knows some secret of some sort. However, the knob on the door that she went through will not turn at all. It must be locked from the other side. Damn! Now I am the only one left in the church. Almost as if taken from a nightmare, this space has heat. This warmth, it feels like it is protecting me from something that is the best way to describe the heat. I move away from the door and begin walking to the altar that woman was at. The object that the woman was just holding has been placed there. The flowers. That is certainly what that woman had called this. I try picking it up, and then I place it back on the top of the desk right away. It is power. The overwhelming power of the God's God's rest inside this four-sided object. It was a sensational, like an electrical current passing into the palm of my hand, and then power moving throughout every nook and cranny of my body. I pick it up once more. This time I calmly take it into my hand, and then place it in my pocket. For some reason, I'm convinced that this object will help me find Cheryl, my little girl. I pick up the key that was next to the flowers, open the door of the church, and rush into the heatless snow world again. Hospital? That woman was certainly saying something about one. Alchemilla Hospital. The only hospital I could find on the map was that one. I could see my breath as I exhaled while I headed toward the entertainment district. The bridge to the entertainment district has been raised so that boats can pass by in the river below. In other words, it is split in the middle and is fixed in a raised position that makes it look like the Japanese katakana character. I'm a weeb, by the way. I am Harry Mason and I like anime. I entered the nearby drawbridge control room, placed the key I was holding into the control panel, and forcefully turned it to the right. While emitting a sound like an old woman laughing, the bridge finally begins. While emitting a sound like DSP laughing, the bridge finally begins to lower, inviting me to the entertainment district. After crossing the bridge, I shudder. The temperature is gradually declining. Or maybe it is just a result of the thing inside me that produces nervousness and fear. On this wide road, there is not a single motorcycle running. I'm running right down the center of it. If I continue forward, Alchemilla Hospital should be on the right. An old building appears in the thick fog. On the signboard, Alchemilla appears in faded letters. Its eeriness caused me to hesitate for an instant. But in the next moment, I placed my hand on the cold gate. I opened the heavy hospital gate and then opened the door directly to my right that has entrance written on it. I don't know what it means, it must be French. The inside of the hospital is wrapped in silence. To the left, there is a reception area in which various papers are neatly placed on the shelf. Waiting benches are lined up along the back of this hall, and a television is pointed at them. I do not feel the presence of any patients or even any people. Only faint light pours in through the windows from the cloudy skies. The hall is filled with a trace scent of alcohol, which penetrates my nose. I begin walking. After passing through the waiting room, I reach a long corridor. I open the door marked examination room. At almost the exact same time as I opened the door, a man inside jumped out of his chair. He is holding a handgun in his right hand. I immediately counterattack with my gun. I instantly ready my gun. That plump man appeared to realize that I was a human. But as soon as he saw the gun, his eyes grew wide. Hold it! Stop! Don't shoot! Wait, I'm not here to fight. After I lowered my gun, the man sat down in his chair in a way that showed that he was relieved. Thank God, another American. My name is Harry Mason. I'm in town on vacation. Do you work here? The man nodded. I was truly relieved. Soylent Hill, which has become a habitat for strange monsters. It is my first contact with someone from this town. I'm Dr. Michael Kaufman. I work at this hospital. So maybe you can tell me what's going on. That man who called himself Kaufman once again stirs in the chair he's sitting in. I really can't say. I was taking a nap in the staff room. When I woke up, it was like this. Everyone seems to have disappeared, and it's snowing out this time of year. He looks off at the floor of the examination room. There on the floor, the corpse of a still warm monster lays on its side. Something's gone seriously wrong. Did you see those monsters? Have you ever seen such aberrations? Ever even heard such things? You and I both know creatures like that don't exist. Yeah. And then I turned to face him as I realized something. Have you seen a little girl anywhere? I'm looking for my daughter. She's only 7, short, black hair. She's missing. I'm sorry. But with all those monsters around, I highly doubt she's, Sorry. I didn't mean to alarm you. Your wife, she's here with you. She died 4 years ago. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but here it is. I'm just gonna let you know. Now it's just me and my daughter. I see. I'm sorry. Well, I'd better be going. I can't just sit around here doing nothing. So long. Good luck out there. Bang! The examination room door shuts powerlessly. Dr. Michael Kaufman, oddly enough, I have completely memorized that name. Huh? I suddenly noticed that there is something on the floor that looks like a white scrap of paper. What's this? I pick it up. Letters have been disorderly scribbled on it. Arrival tomorrow morning, be prepared. What's this? Check to see if there's anything else. Go after Kaufman. Let's go after Kaufman. Wait, what if I check something? I think you check something. I think you check either way. I don't know. Let's go after Kaufman. I leave the examination room. Kaufman is nowhere to be found. I begin to run. I pass through the medicine room and reach a planked floor corridor that silently extends in an L shape. I moved forward and found that there was an elevator with a large door at the end of the corridor. I try pressing the buttons beside it. Nothing happens. It looks like the power is off. There are several doors in the corridor. I begin opening each one in order. Each door that is open, because like half of them have broken locks and stuff like that. I open the door marked meeting room, head inside and close the door behind me. A large table rests in the center of the room, and I notice that there is something glittering on top of it. I grasp a light green key. I don't think I've ever seen a green key. Is that actually a thing? Like, they're usually just silver, I guess. Unless it's like a really old moldy one, or like not moldy, but like a one with patina on it. Just oxidized green, I don't know. I grasped the you can buy colored keys. I've never seen colored keys in my life, I think. I'm trying to think, but I don't think I've ever seen one. Like the only part that's usually colored is maybe the handle, but like not the entire key. I guess, yeah, since it's like, you know, an abandoned hospital, it could be like an oxidized key, who the fuck knows? You have a rainbow tie-dye color? Nice. Okay, where was I? I grabbed the light green key, leave this room, and once again step into the chilly corridor. The next room looks to be a kitchen. I guess that the food for patients is probably prepared here. Various bronze cooking utensils are neatly arranged in order on the stainless steel countertop. It does not appear that anything terribly important is here. I carefully look through the various cooking utensils. Inside a large pot, there's nothing at all. While continuing to search if there might be some clue here or not, I notice that on the far wall various objects have been scattered about. I carefully move forward on the wet floors as not to slip. Something is there. I reach out my hand towards the thing in front of me. Pick up the pet bottle? Pick up the kitchen knife. I think last time I picked up the kitchen knife, so let's pick up the pet bottle. I move past one of the sinks and notice an empty pet bottle sitting at the end of the counter. Perhaps this might come in handy for something. I mutter this and grab the empty pet bottle. Then I leave the kitchen. After leaving the kitchen, I head right and place my hand on the first door that I come to. I notice the words Director's Office out of the corner of my eye as I open the door. From inside the room, a strong stench overflows outward and causes me to feel dizzy. Someone has ransacked the room. Behind the desk that probably belongs to the director, several bottles have been broken, leaving red and blue liquid spilled all over the floor. Wait, blue liquid? I thought it was... Oh, okay. I thought it was just like blue. Oh, sorry, I thought it was just red. What the hell is the blue one? Wait. I've never done this before. Like, I've never actually gotten the bottle, I think. The fuck is the blue stuff? And you can get a mixture of it too? That's weird. I guess for now I'll just go with the red one. I'm kind of like semi-following the game story. I get out the pet bottle and use the fragment of the bottom section of one of the broken bottles to pour the vermilion liquid into it. The sticky liquid drips into the pet bottle. The last drop lingered, but once it finally hit the surface of the liquid already inside the pet bottle, I tightly closed the cap on and left the director's office. I crept out into the corridor once more and stood in front of the door that was closest to the elevator. I opened the door, and reverberations of the sounds of it opening and then closing shake my eardrums. The walls are made of concrete, and a few steps in a what? Wait, what was it? And a few steps in, a staircase leading to the basement extends like the folds inside the body of a snake. The fuck? It is dark and difficult to see, but it looks like there is a door at the bottom of the staircase. Like, Harry, I know you're a fucking writer, but you don't have to explain everything in such detail, you know, like, oh, it's like a snake, like, fucking doof-ass Harry, like, oh, it's a snake, it's like a staircase, like a snake. Be brave, I muttered to myself. Leaving only the echoes of my footsteps, I descend the staircase that looks like a snake to hell, one step at a time, and then I open the door, leading to darkness. That reminds me of that like, there's this board game called Ladders and Snakes or whatever the fuck. I haven't played that in so long. I don't know, this like staircase being a snake reminded me of that. I could see the electricity was most likely out in the entire hospital. I pressed the switch on the flashlight on my chest and tried lighting the area. It is creepy, and yet there is nothing noticeably out of place. Chilly air drifts from the cold concrete, and it seems as if touching it would completely rob my body of its warmth. While moving through the corridor, I try opening the doors as I come to them. Of them, one opens with a creak. Emergency generator is written on the machine that occupies most of the room to reach the second floor, and above it did not look like there was any other method than using the elevator. So without hesitation, I turned the machine on. I immediately head for the elevator. I press the up button. The heavy sound of the motor and the sounds of metal parts coming into contact with each other almost sound like intertwined screams. With a ding, the elevator opens and its doors slowly open. The inside of the elevator is large. It seems to be absolutely big enough to accept 3 hospital beds. Buttons for each floor are lined up to the right of the elevator's door. They are marked 3, 2, 1 and B from top down. First I head to the second floor. However, after I step off the elevator, I found that the door connected to the corridor that leads to the rooms on this floor is locked. With no alternative, I try heading to the 3rd floor, but I find that it is the same state. Well, what now? I have already tried moving to every floor. With nothing else to do, I re-entered the elevator and then could not believe my eyes. Oh my god. Of the buttons for each floor, 3 was definitely the highest floor. Just before, in spite of that, a new 4 button has been added? What the hell? The elevator drops open with a familiar sound, and then I step out to find the 4th floor. Again, I think, a condition extremely similar to that which I encountered after passing through the basement in the clock tower, at the elementary school was present right in front of me. Dark red rusted walls, metal grated floors, and a ringing in my ears that seems to creep up from the depths of hell is a menace to my mental state. I open the door in front of me, and a long corridor extends beyond it. I very carefully move forward, while keeping my eyes fixed on the wall. Could Cheryl be here? The only way to find out is to search this place. Huh? I can hear something in the darkness in front of me. It sounds like the groan of something dragging on the ground. The owner of that groan is slowly closing in on me, but I cannot see what it is, for sure with the faint light of my flashlight. I instantly ready my gun, leave the area. Let's get the fuck out of here, bro. I'm in danger. I try running away. However, I can hear the owner of that eerie groan pursuing me from behind. I thought that maybe it was echoing off the walls, but it is not the case. I became aware of my situation. I'm clearly surrounded. There's nowhere to run, so I have no choice. It is probably not human. I firmly grip the gun, position my finger on the trigger, and begin to walk towards it with my gun ready beside my face. Get off my property! I shout at the monster. Eventually something white enters my field of vision. I adjust aim the flashlight on my chest. What? I just aim the flashlight on my chest with my hand and shine light on it. Okay. The monster has a very large hump on its back, which twitches and moves as if it were alive. In one hand, it holds a knife, which it weaves as it approaches me. In the instant I readied my gun, the monster began to run. By the time I realized this, it slashed at me. I instantly dodged the attack. Thanks to that, damn! I kick it in the face with the bottom of my shoe, and it falls down on its back. It then begins to stand for its next attack. I close my left eye and steady my aim. Even after one shot hit, its movement does not change at all. I fire more bullets at it. It is laughing in a voice great enough to shake the entire world. It laughs as its face twists and distorts. I cannot give up. When the final bullet loaded into my gun it finally stops laughing. This time it is face down and I begin crushing it with my foot. This is insane! Another monster approaches from behind the corpse of the first one. At this rate, all the bullets in the world would not be enough. All I can do is run. At begin to run toward the monster in front of me, evading the large swings of its knife. I run down the dark corridor, occasionally stumbling. I see a staircase leading down. I race down it, knowing not whether if something is waiting for me or not at its base. I'm thinking about Cheryl. Even if she is held prisoner somewhere in this hospital, there's no guarantee that I can rescue her. In fact, there's no reason that the staircase I am descending should lead me to Cheryl. I begin to think that all my current actions are all meaningless. However, generally speaking, since I arrived in Soylent Hill, no, since the day before leaving for Soylent Hill, no, even longer ago, no, even before the creation of the planet, no, even before the creation of the universe, no, even before time, since the day I met Cheryl, perhaps I have had no choice in my actions, that they have been determined by someone's will, like someone controlling me with a PlayStation controller. As I continue to the base of the stairs, I contemplate. What if my life up to this point had just been on one track, my quote-unquote life? As I descend the stairs, my ears begin ringing again. The ringing is so forceful that it cannot even be compared to before, and it forces me to squat down. What in the world has happened? Perhaps I have opened the door to hell, a door that should never be opened? Something is clearly changing, and it's for the worse. Going back will not be permitted. I must move forward. Forward, I put my hands together on my head and then squeeze my temples tightly by using my elbows. The ringing then begins to sound like a demon is whispering in my ears. However, it doesn't stop. I blindly begin to run. Even if I am to die in this mad land, I must save my beloved Cheryl first. Believing that the answers are beyond this door, I know what I must discover, at least one clue. I have no idea. It's like kind of like when I was playing The Mummy yesterday, and then I enabled those cheats, and then Brendan Fraser was all kinds of distorted. Maybe that's how. Like, you have to cartridge tilt Harry into doing that. Several overlapping square figures are shaking in time with the sound of my heart. It is the wall at the end of the area. Another wall lies perpendicular to it. There's a door present on this wall with a plate on it that says Stonehouse. Some chemicals have been placed on the table that is next to the door. There are 3 beakers of different sizes in the test tube. The test tube contains a liquid that is of a different color to that which is in the leftmost beaker. I found a memo. To create it, you must come up with 1 deciliter of liquid and pour it into the test tube. No more or no less, that man had said. But there are no graduations on the beakers. This makes it impossible to come up with 1 deciliter using these 3 large beakers. Explanation of controls. Wait, it said I have create. Oh wait, I have to create. Wait, what? Did it say 1? I think it said 1, right? No, I don't want to do that. Yo, Ms. Nia. Yep. I have no idea what I'm doing. I think I need one. I think it said something like I need one. Can we like cancel out of this? Okay. Thank you. That's not exactly what I wanted. Hold on. Fuck. Oh my! I hate the controls for this. Harry melted the chain on the door with the completed liquid. The door slowly opens with a click. Inside the storehouse, nothing important looking stands out. I carefully edge between the simple metal shelves that have been placed here in a specific arrangement. However, nothing is here that makes this room worthy of being called a storehouse. I am drawn toward a cabinet in the back of this room. This is because I found the presence of the wooden cabinet strange and unsuitable for this simple room. I approach the cabinet and try to open it, however it will not budge. I mean, it doesn't really matter, like you'll see it either way, so it's like whatever. Yeah, there's like, you know, scratch marks or whatever. The necessity of this cabinet here is thin, as anything could be used to satisfy the requirement. If something is needed to block my path, then a bunch of stones could work just as well. I thought this as I looked at the scratches on the floor that were the same width as the cabinet. The marks on the floor are still fresh. They tell me that some other human probably came down here. Is there something beyond this cabinet? Using my body weight, I slowly push the cabinet from the original position. The existence of this inviting door behind the cabinet seems completely natural, so of course I place my hand on it. The room is very inorganic. While shining my flashlight about, I move through the room and eventually discover a grate in the floor. From between the bars in the grate I can see a staircase that leads to a lower floor. The grate makes a clunk sound. Clunk, Mr. Trash, and clunk as I open it. It is quite heavy. Even though I am sure of my strength, I do not believe that I could pick it up. Wait, what? Great enough so that I can pass through it. I gently place one foot on the staircase. That is what is he? Wait, what is he talking about? Like, okay, so he just opens it without having to use the alcohol and like the fire and whatnot, because like, even though it was still there on the render, it doesn't matter. Slowly and cautiously confirming each step as I go, I descend the staircase to a matte place in which light cannot reach. I finally reach a wide room, much wider than I imagined. I guess this based on the echoes of my footsteps. Run. I'm running. Through this eerie space that lies in the basement of the basement of the hospital of the basement of the basement, it is lifeless and there is no light. All I can do is run through it. Does this world have an end? Or did it even have a beginning? Everywhere I go, all that I do is solve the mysteries that appear, one after another, and then move on. I understand this, and expect that the same situation will continue. Still, all I can do is move forward. My thinking always results in this conclusion. This door has awaited me. I slowly turn the knob. The inside of this room is different from the ones I have encountered up to this point, and I can feel life in here. There are traces and sense that someone was in this room. I softly pick up the picture frame that was displayed on the desk, Alessa, that is engraved on the picture frame. I gaze at the picture. It is a face that I think I have seen somewhere. I try to remember where as hard as I can, but in the end I cannot remember at all. But I am sure that I have met this girl somewhere, and more than just once. A diary has been placed next to the picture frame. I reach out with my hand, pick up the diary, pick up the picture. Something written in the diary. April 15. From today this will be my new diary. Lisa secretly gave this to me as a present, and it means that soon I should be able to take my bandages off. A bird landed on the branch of the tree outside my window. I gazed at it for a bit. Seeing those beautiful colors, I thought again that it must be spring. I wish I could play outside like the other children. It is now afternoon, and they have come again. I pretended to be asleep, and it looks like they did not notice. They talk quietly as not to be heard outside my room. I do not understand the meaning of what they discussed. They never talk in this room. I thought, April 16. Someone is talking outside my room. It sounds serious, but it doesn't seem to be about me. Perhaps it's because he doesn't want to disturb me. Even the hospital director has not come to see me much lately. I don't like the director very much, so I'm honestly quite happy. P.S. By some strange chance I learned a certain person is coming to visit me. 17. Everyone has been in a rush for some reason, since before sunrise this morning. Something about a dead person coming back to life. Does that really happen? It's a frightening story, and because of that, my meal was a little late. The cold soup is disappointing. Suddenly I remembered him. Maybe he has forgotten me, but I definitely remember him. Lately I think of him often. I want to see him. It looks like my visitor is coming in the evening on the day after tomorrow. Before then, just once. April 18. It is finally tomorrow. I will not tell anyone about this. If I tell anyone, they will probably strap me to my bed. Before they arrive, the friend that can share my feelings, the only one. I wonder if she will realize this. Tonight, I will go to bed early. April 19. I must get out of here. For the first time in a while, I have worn my favorite pendant. Does it look good on me? I will write about the results here tomorrow. April 20. The last page is blank. I place the diary under my arm and prepare to leave the room. However, my eyes once again return to the picture frame that the diary had been placed next to. She was all alone, but I have Cheryl. The girl in the picture is appearing to me for something. In the painful silence, I can feel a spiritual message. After wavering, I removed the picture from the frame and slid it into my pocket, and then I left the room. Alessa, just who is she? And why was her picture on the display in the deep basement of the hospital? And where was that strange feeling of a life that I sensed in that room coming from? I'm unable to figure any of it out. And so I am irritated. I head for the examination room on the first floor. All the mysteries of the hospital are surely prepared in that room. Believing so, I race up the stairs while having difficulty breathing. When I open the door to the examination room, I feel the presence of a person and stop moving. The inside of the room is dark. Someone is here. Who is it? I fire the gun.
Yeehaw! I readied the handgun, so there's more of you bastards. I can depend only upon my gun in this hospital, which had become a nest for monsters. At the moment I was about to pull the trigger, a woman shrieked, "Wait! Don't shoot! I'm a human! Also an American!" With my gun still readied, I carefully looked at the woman under the desk. What? What are you doing under there? So anyway, I started blasting. Once the woman realized that I was an American, she ran towards me and threw her arms around me like a child would. Finally, someone else who's American. After mumbling those words in a tearful voice, she held me more tightly. Who are you? My name is Lisa Garland. What's yours? Harry Mason. Wow, that's a dumb fucking name, she said. After we exchanged our simple introductions, I sat in a chair and she sat on the bed so that we were facing each other. The woman that called herself Lisa had blonde hair and an intelligent look to her. Maybe she might know something. At the moment I was about to speak, the woman began talking. Harry, tell me what's happening here. Where's everybody? I must have gotten knocked out when I came to. Everyone was gone. Her voice did not feel like it was coming from her body, and was accompanied by a strange reverberation. It's awful. So you don't know anything either. Great. I just don't get it. It's all some kind of bad dream. As I select my words, I have a feeling that even my own words are not coming from my body. Let me ask you. Yeah? A living nightmare. Let me ask you. Have you seen a little girl around here? Short, black hair, 7 years old? I mutter. Cheryl. In a voice that Lisa would not hear. A 7-year-old girl. What, she's your daughter? Yes. A 7-year-old girl. I can't say that I have. I was unconscious all this time. I'm sorry. That's alright. Fuck's sake. That was just as I expected. But I continue asking questions without showing my disappointment. Do you know anything about all that weird stuff in the basement? No. Why, what's down? What, is there something down there? You don't know? Don't you work here? We're under strict orders to never enter the basement storeroom. After changing the subject to the hospital basement, I began to notice that my thoughts were becoming muddy. So I really don't know. What did you say was down there? Well, I tried as hard as I can to remember the pitiful sight of that room in the basement. However, I'm trying to trace my memory back to that ringing, which had, what? However, in trying to trace my memory back to then, that ringing which had been gone for a while returned to my ears. A sound like the bells of that church run through my head. Damn, my head. What's wrong, Harry? Harry, let me help you. Harry. And then I died. And Lisa died too. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I gotta fix the wiring of my fan. Okay, I'm back. Fucking the ground cable keeps moving, keeps getting loose. All right, where was I? Lisa has vanished. After a while, I noticed that my body is freezing cold. It is as if I am dead, but I'm clearly conscious. Where's Lisa? I was definitely talking to her in this examination room. I no longer feel the evil presence that I felt in this room. No, in this entire hospital, up until just before. From the window, soft light is pouring into their room. Was I dreaming? As I slowly get up, I hear the sound of a door opening. I instantly look toward the source of the sound. The creepy woman I met at the church was standing there, with an expressionless look on her face. You are too late. It is you. Yes, Dahlia Gillespie. Tell me everything you know. What's going on? Darkness, she responded before I was even done speaking. The town is being devoured by darkness, the woman continues, while maintaining a devout look. Strength must overcome petty desire. Childish sleep talk. I knew this day would come. What are you talking about? I don't understand a word of this. Believe the evidence of your eyes. So I should believe the evidence of my eyes. I understand. I am in a situation in which I can only believe what I have seen with my own eyes. That's what she's talking about. That's right. The other church in this town. That is your destination. This is beyond my abilities. Only you can stop it now. Have you not seen the crest marked on the ground all over town? So that's what I saw in the schoolyard. What does it mean? It is the mark of Samael. Don't let it be completed. Hey, wait! Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yo! Wait. Wait, I had the same problem before. On, like, when I was playing on, like, the Nintendo Wii emulator, it just freezes here. So this is a problem with the translation patch, not with the game? Not with the emulator? Oh, fuck. Well, that's great. That's why I was playing on the shitty PC emulator, because it was like freezing on the GBA emulator right here, I think. So I guess if you like take the normal route that's the same as the game's route, then this happens, or is it just complete random? I don't know what happened. Also, my chat got disconnected, so that's fun. Hey, Boris. Have you ever got this freeze here after this sentence? Like, it's over. What the fuck? This is bullshit. What the fuck? Oh my god. I got that freeze before in the past. Yeah, I'm mostly doing like original game route, except like we don't actually fight the monster. We just don't get killed by the monster for some reason. Good thing I haven't saved in like 10 years. Oh fuck. That's not what I wanted to choose. Whatever. Well, I guess maybe by choosing that I will actually get no crashes anymore. Hopefully. Thank God, another American. Also, do you know what the blue liquid is? In the office? Apparently you can even pick up a mixture of it, which is interesting.
What's this?
Yo, JJ. It was. Thank you very much for the raid. How's it going, gamers? Hey, Alin. Hey, Pal Version. Hey, Pruno 5. The game crashed. So I'm trying to see if I can get back to the point and if it crashes again. So that kinda sucks. I don't know if it's because of the don't know if it's because of the translation patch or what, but yeah, that kinda sucks. Make sure to follow Jill. and definitely make sure to follow JJ as well. Did you get the new world record, JJ? Or we're getting close. We're getting close. 55 is pretty good. Soon, TM. You'll get there. Yeah, I have no idea why this thing is just crashing. I think I had that same crash when I was using a Nintendo Wii based GBA emulator, and it just happened again, so I'm not quite sure. You have to wait 1 minute and 3 seconds before giving another shout out. What the fuck? How, since when is it a thing? I can't give 2 shout outs? What the? Oh my god, are you joking? Twitch is such a shit website. Okay. Yeah, imagine. How did I do this again? Put that there. But yeah, this is like really fun. It's wild. Like wild stuff is happening in this thing. When you're it's just silly. Like there's you can play as Sybil as well. You have the Harry and the Sybil scenarios, and there are so many different outcomes. And the weird thing is you don't choose your actions. You kind of just choose what happens. So instead of like, I'm gonna do this or do that, you can sometimes do that, yes, but most of the times it will just be like what is there. So you're not really controlling them. You're controlling the story. Like you can. When Harry looks at the book in which he reads about the that like story for children about killing the big guy when it opens its mouth, shoot an arrow in the mouth. You can just pick what it is. You can pick either it's like a children's tale or like a pharmaceutical book, or it could be like ancient like medicine book or whatever the frick like that. It's pretty interesting. And currently I'm doing the path of like I'm doing a path that's kind of similar to what you get in the game as well, like a PS1 game, but with some differences. Like I pulled the gun on Kaufman, and he was like, "Thank God, another American." And then we also didn't actually kill the split head. The split head sort of killed us, but then we were fine. So I don't know. It's really weird. So I'm trying to follow a similar to the actual game route, but it's weird because that's not exactly how it works. And now the game is crashing, which I have seen this crash before, and I'm kind of confused as to why it's happening, but oh well. You're gonna see if it happens again. Hopefully not. Like here, he's in the basement of the hospital, and like he's looking at the cupboard. You can either, I will look at the floor under the cabinet to see the marks, or you can look inside of the cabinet, or you can look on top of the cabinet. Like whatever you do, he'll just see that there are marks. We've actually almost killed Sybil at the start. It's pretty good. Okay, I will look on the top of the cabinet this time. I stood up straight and looked on top of the cabinet. Other than a layer of dust, so thick that it almost appeared as if a cloth had been laid on the cabinet, there's nothing of interest. My field of vision shakes violently. I lost my balance and fell to the floor. I landed on my butt hard enough for it to be unpleasant. Very good. That's a good thing. Ah! Da 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 da. There I discovered something odd. Countless lines have been bored into the old flooring, and fiber-shaped wooden chips are exposed. It looks as if someone has moved this cabinet and then returned to its original position. And for some reason we don't have to use the alcohol and the lighter. We just go through the gate, because whatever. Vines are just in our imaginations. Oh, I didn't pull out my gun on her. God damn it. I wanted to pull out my gun. Oh well. You can pull out your gun on Lisa as well, and then shoot. You can be a true American in this. So this is where the game crashed. I'm gonna save, I guess, but it's probably screwed, so whatever. I'll try to skip through it real quick. Nah, it just crashes there every time now. I think it's just broken. I think the only way I was able to get past this was when I was using the PC build of this, because they made a PC version. The weird thing is that I am pretty sure I have played through the Harry scenario before on the same emulator. So I'm wondering if one of my choices has caused this. Because, you know, this time I've kind of done it a bit differently than last time. I'm just wondering if like something I've done is causing it to crash, because it's over, like it's dead. It won't move any further. Man, that sucks. I don't know why it's doing this. I could try like restarting it maybe, and then loading into the save file. Nah, dude, it's gonna come on. Even a Wii GBA emulator crashed. This is completely random. It can happen because you're choosing like a certain path. It has to be because of some of your choices in the past, I think, that it crashes here. Because I have played through this before on the same MU, and so like I have played through the Harry scenario just fine, but this time I picked something that's like resembles the original game, and I think maybe that's causing a crash. Like I said that the book is like a tale for kids, you know, so it's the same as in the game, in the PS1 game, and I did pull my gun on Kaufman though, but I did run after him. I didn't look around in this room, so I don't know. Yeah, you're full of shit. It will still crash on PS2. I know for a fact it will still crash on PS2. The PS2 GBA emulator is like some of the jankiest garbage. I'll see if I can... Maybe I can load in the save file. Chapter 8, the Bright Examination Room. Maybe it will just work if I do this. Never tried this. Let's see if it works now. Frame skips the crashy part. But like I said, this didn't. Oh, see, it didn't crash this time. I just had to reload it. Okay, so that's the fix. You just. Oh man, I could have just done that on the Wii as well, I guess. Fuck, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that the game has this feature where it
like saves your progress. I only just realized that now, that if you close the emulator, it will still remember where you were and then continue from that chapter because it auto saves. Dahlia Gillespie. She places an oddly shaped key on an examination table with a tap, spins around, heads to the door, and then opens it. I open the door that she closed and roll out into the hospital corridor, but she is nowhere to be seen. The other church. But if I exclude the church I already visited, I do not see anything that looks like a church on the map. I slowly open the phone book attached to the payphone in the corridor. In there, a mark is present to guide me. It is next to the phone number for an antique shop in the northeast area of the shopping district. But yeah, if you guys have never played this, I can highly recommend checking it out. It's really fun. It's like a wild version of Silent Hill. You can do whatever you want, and then like there are different outcomes, like such crazy outcomes. You can choose Harry to just die, you know, like in some of the options. It's really funny. And there are some pretty cool renders as well. These pictures that they've rendered out. The door to the antique shop is ominously open. The open door connects to a staircase leading down to the basement. At the end of the stairs, there's another door. I insert the key I was carrying and slowly turn it. The inside of the shop is small. I take a look around using my flashlight and find that the place is in such a mess that it looks almost as if it had been ransacked by a thief. Is something here? At first glance, I don't think that there is anything here that concerns me. However, I did not miss that which was hidden behind a shelf. I move the shelf step by step, and then eerie passage leading into darkness appears. What's this? Harry? I look back toward the familiar voice. Sybil! Sybil, who should have left for the next town over to call for backup, was there. I'm glad you're okay. I shouldn't have left you. Things are worse than I thought. It's nuts! What are you doing here? I thought you left town. I saw you go in here, so I followed you. I couldn't get out. All the roads out of town were blocked. Cars have completely stopped running. The phones and radios are still out too. What about my daughter? Did you see her? I did see a girl. My heart began to beat faster. Was it Cheryl? I only caught a glimpse of her through the fog. I went after her, but she vanished. I don't know about your daughter, but... And you just let her go? Where was it? On Bachman Road. She was heading towards the lake. Now don't get excited, it wasn't like she ran off exactly. There was no place for her to go. The road has been obliterated. What? So then Cheryl... It was like she was walking on thin air. Huh? An uncomfortable silence occurs between the two of us. What about you? Anything? Yeah. I met this bizarre woman. Her name's Dahlia Gillespie. Do you know her? Dahlia Gillespie. No. And? She said something about the town being devoured by darkness. Gibberish like that. Any idea what it means? Darkness devouring the town. Must be on drugs. They sold them to the tourists. The force still can't figure out who's behind it. None of our leads have panned out, and the investigation is stalled. Drugs? Sybil's response was far from what I had imagined, so I shake my head back and forth. What could drugs trafficking have to do with all this? I really don't know, but maybe that's the darkness she was talking about. That's all I can think of. Sybil looked slightly irritated and took a long breath. Then she shifted her gaze to the passage behind the shelf. What's this? Just discovered it. Maybe there's something back there. Let's have a look. Sybil. I will go first. Wait, we don't know what's back there. I'd better check it out first. I'm a cop, I should go. No, I'm going, I said in a rough tone. No, I'm going. Alright, I'll cover you from here. Be careful. If anything looks fishy, get back here on the double. Okay. I peer inside the hidden passage. Inside it looks like an unseen barrier of darkness has been set up, which makes it look like a place no one should enter. I intuitively sense that it would be dangerous to move into this passage. It is that kind of passage. I looked back at Sybil. Once. Sybil? Yes? Do you know anything about gibberish like that? Well, some kind of other world. It's like some kind of bad dream. What are you talking about? I'm not quite sure myself. I try to make sense of it, but then my mind goes blank. Everything's dark there, and I hear sirens in the distance. I met this nurse, Lisa. It's like I was there, but not really. It's all like a blur, like some kind of hallucination, you know? I have no idea what you're talking about, Harry. Sybil spoke while shaking her head from side to side. Oh, I was just wondering. Never mind. Fuck's sake. Harry, you're tired. Yeah, maybe. Am I tired? Yes, I am tired. If that is all that is, then that is fine. That is all. If my being tired is what's caused me to see all the hallucinations up to this point, then Cheryl should return to me. The only thing is the sensation I am feeling. What? The only thing is the sensation I am feeling is not that of being tired, rather my body feels as if I have been on the floor sleeping continuously like a human in cold sleep, and I am feeling the agonizing suffering of not easily being able to escape from that state. Leaving Sybil behind, I step into the passage. I begin walking carefully, taking one step at a time. Sybil can probably no longer see me from where she is, even if I could see her from where I am. I made my way into the room at the end of the passage. It is small, and the smell of something having been burned is in the air. Once I saw an altar appear in the darkness. I realized that this is the other church that Dolly was talking about. I look around the area, and axes have been displayed on the wall, but nothing else stands out. While shaking my head, I decide to try going back through the passage I came from, and then, at that moment, a light, bright enough to make me look away, emanates from the altar. I think I heard the sound of a giant match being stuck, and then two enormous pillars of flame rose from the altar, as if a ritual were beginning or something. Even at the distance I am at, I can feel the heat from those flames. My surprise in that heat caused me to fall into a state of barely being conscious, and then I gradually lose myself until I finally end up lying face down on the concrete floor. And then the coldness that remains in the floor was drawn away by the heat as my consciousness grew distant. Ree? Are you okay? Harry? Harry? Where am I? Harry? Lisa? Then I'm in the hospital? You were having a bad dream, was I? Hey, you don't look too good. Are you okay? I'm fine. Nothing new you need to worry about. Well, if you're sure, Lisa, do you know a woman named Dahlia Gillespie? Oh yeah, that crazy Gillespie lady. She's kind of famous around here. She never sees anybody, so I don't know that much about her, but I heard her kid died in a fire, and supposedly she's been crazy ever since. Well, she says the town is being devoured by darkness. Do you have any idea what she's talking about? The town devoured by darkness. Yes, I think I do. Before this place was turned into a resort, the townspeople here were on the quiet side. Everybody followed some kind of queer religion, weird occult stuff, black magic, all that kind of stuff. As young people moved away, the people figured they'd been summoned by the gods. Evidently, things like that used to happen around here all the time. Before the resort, there wasn't really anything else out here. Everyone was so flipped out, gotta blame it on something. Then a lot of new people came in and everybody clammed up about it. A cult? Last time I heard anything about it was, years ago, when several people connected with developing the town died in accidents. People said it was a curse. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I'll shut up. Finally. Lisa is shutting up. The reverberation of Lisa's "I'll shut up" remained in my ears. I wonder how long had I been asleep. I found myself in that antique shop again, lying face down in the same position I was in just a short while ago. Was that another dream? Did I pass out again? I don't want to think so, but maybe this is all just going on in my head. I could have had a car accident and now I'm lying unconscious in a hospital bed. I don't know what's real anymore. Sybil said Cheryl was heading towards the lake, but the road to the lake is blocked. Aren't there any other roads? Lisa would probably know. Although I am limited in what I can do, I still have one piece of information for finding Cheryl. so I cannot just remain here. I energetically stand up, open the door of the antique shop, and rush back into town. I wait for a romper to arrive, and then I turn around and run back into the entrance. I wait for the romper to jump onto my back so I can basically get through the transition on the staircase so I can go out of bounds and then just run all the way over to the top of that. But the town has turned into that nightmarish world. It's as if the danger in this town increases with every second. In order to find Lisa, I turn on the flashlight on my chest and begin to run at full speed. I left the antique shop with the intention of reuniting with Lisa, but I discovered that all the roads leading to the hospital are blocked. With no other choice, I entered the shopping mall, town center, in the shopping district. Inside, everything has naturally changed to the other world as well. I can hear the groans of monsters in the vicinity, and it would not be surprising if they attacked at any moment. The floor has changed to metal grating, and this building looks as if it has been left in ruins for several hundred years.
Oh hey, there's a Geiger store. we had the Geiger store over here as well.
Large monitors have been placed in the hall at the entrance to greet shoppers. After wandering around the first floor and finding nothing interesting, I begin heading up to the powered down escalator, and at that moment, suddenly, light overflows from out of the monitors in the hall. A bound Cheryl is displayed on the screens. Daddy? Help me! Cheryl! I turn around and run back down the escalator toward the first floor hall. The image of Cheryl in the monitors then began to get more and more fuzzy until it dissolves into video static on the picture tube. And then, in place of Cheryl, an eerie crest is displayed. It looked a lot like that which I saw in the courtyard of the elementary school. I pound on the monitors like a monkey with all my strength, as if I believed that Cheryl is trapped inside the picture tube. Honestly, I'm not very clever. I'm convinced Cheryl was definitely taken away by someone and is being held by them, and she's waiting for me to rescue her. I must hurry, I say to myself. Alright. Search the second floor, search the first floor. Let's search the first floor. Instead of going up to the second floor, I decided to check out the first floor. Dilapidated department stores can be seen through the metal gratings. Everything is scattered about, and a giant spider web bigger than I have ever seen stretches throughout this area. I walked along the fence that bordered the first floor. After passing by a show window with mannequins, I came to a walled-off space. Sand is spread all over the open area inside, and it is lit by incandescent light from above. At first glance, I thought it was outside. There appears to be a high ceiling that cannot be seen so well in the dark. There's a circular hole in one of the metal gratings that surrounds the area. From there I can enter the area. I bent down and stepped into the walled-off area. Upon moving in just a bit, I find a rifle. I pick up the rifle at my feet and try readying it. As I do so, an unspeakably unpleasant tremor comes from below me, and it shakes my entire body. It is not something that I can see. I decide this is because I felt it only from below me. I can clearly tell that something with a long body like a caterpillar is moving around below me. As I move, it moves in the same direction, so it is obvious that it is aiming for me, and as it moves, and then it shows itself. It is a giant caterpillar about 25 feet long. It sprays a green liquid from its fierce tusk covered mouth. I can tell that the liquid is poisonous just from looking at it. That it is definitely being discharged towards me. I did not dodge it in time, so some of that liquid got onto my arm. The pain is sharp. Red is rising up where the poisonous liquid got onto me, as it is dissolving the components of my skin. Damn! Run. I've got to escape. I turn around. The only thing I am satisfied with is getting a hold of the rifle, but I cannot find the hole in the fence that I just came through. Odd. I begin to run, however, it pursues me from under the ground with unthinkable speed. The tremors at my feet gradually get stronger and stronger. I fling myself to a stop and notice a steel plate lying in front of me. However, I move onto the steel plate, stay where I am. Move onto the steel plate. As moving onto the steel plate, I discovered one problem with doing so. I can no longer tell where it is coming from. I can only go with my intuition, just where it is going to appear from. I gamble. Side. From the side. I ready the rifle with my right hand and I quickly attack to the left, but it will take a little time to attack to the right. So I wager on the left. I calm my breathing so that I will be able to fire as soon as I see it. However, it went against my prediction and appeared from behind me. I won't make it in time. As soon as I turned around, a shower of poisonous liquid sprayed from its mouth and fell all over my face. Ugh! I cannot even speak! I wiped my face with my hands. This time I felt the pain of burning on the palms of my hands. I aimed at it, pulled the trigger over and over, the sound of an explosion, and then a scream repeats over and over. Then a great tremor shakes the earth, and it escapes underground. Without resting, I stand, because my intuition tells me that Cheryl is in danger. Hey, I think that's a pretty good outcome. With like burnt Harry pretty nicely with the acid. I leave the town center. Perhaps the caterpillar from before was blocking my path to the hospital, as my route, which had been blocked until just before, was now restored. The entire town seemed like the insides of an enormous living thing. If a part of it is treated, then a part of it is destroyed. If a part of it disappears, then a part of it appears. I get the feeling that I am wandering about within a living organism that has become a labyrinth. I open the gate to the hospital, and then, energetically, open the door of the examination room. Inside, Lisa is waiting for me. Harry? She changes from looking completely exhausted and rushes over to me in an innocent, childlike way. Glad you're okay. Thank God you came back. I was scared to be here all alone. I'm here now. I was worried too. I'm real happy to see you. I lightly hug Lisa and then gently draw away. Then I speak while looking into her eyes. Lisa, can you tell me how to get to the lake? The lake? You take Bachman Road. The road's been blocked. I recall what Sybil told me. Well, that's the only way out there. Are you sure? There's gotta be another way. Lisa places her hand on her chin and thinks for a bit, little finger pistol. Then her eyes open wide as if she had realized something. Wait! I just remembered something! What? There's a waterworks over by my old elementary school. It's been abandoned for years. There's an underground tunnel out. They used to be, they're used for inspections or something. I remember hearing it runs all the way to the lake. Really? You think I can get to the lake from there? I've never been down there myself, so I'm not positive. Besides, it's all fenced off to keep people out. If there's a chance, I've got to try. Lisa embraces me again, just as I think that her face is beginning to look tearful. Harry, don't go! I don't want to be alone. It's so scary, I can't stand it. This one room is in an empty hospital. In this state in which monsters could kick the door and enter at any time, she has no weapons with which to defend herself with. So her being gripped with fear is only natural. What should I do? It doesn't really matter. Take Lisa with me. How about coming with me? This may not be the safest place in the world either. I can't promise you anything, but I'll do my best to protect you. No. Somehow I feel I'm not supposed to leave this place. It's the same as me. Oh, Harry, I'm so scared. I'm cold. I waver. It is okay for me to leave. Is it okay for me to leave Lisa alone? But then, what will happen to Cheryl? Cheryl has only me to depend on. My concern for Cheryl cannot be compared with my concern for Lisa. After all, she's my daughter. Look, just wait here a little longer. I'll be back as soon as I find my daughter. Perhaps those words rang cold for Lisa, but there's nothing that can be done. I must save my daughter. Harry. I leave the hospital. The water supply installation near the elementary school was... I was told I could go through those... What? The water supply installation near the elementary school. I was told that I could go through those sewers and reach the lake. That Cheryl was heading towards... I must hurry. As I began to run, I felt something fly over my head. It looks like something is flying in circles in the sky above me, but it is dark, so I cannot see it so well. I climb the middle stairs of the building across the street and then head up to the roof. What? What is this? A giant moth, I guess. I didn't completely kill it. That caterpillar that I shot at the town center has followed me here. And it has matured. It dances against the black sky and is looking down on me. In addition to the poison that it can discharge from its mouth, it now has a stinger with which to stick me with. I'm in danger. I fired the rifle, however, it is adept in the air and evades my aim, leaving the bullet to hit only air before being swallowed by the darkness. I could clearly see blood, but whatever. Calm down, I told myself. I must focus on only one target. While dodging it, I point barrel of the gun at the soft area below the chest. It adeptly uses its large wings to pursue me, but eventually its strength runs out and it falls between two buildings. Green liquid leaks from its insides, and its screams echo throughout the town. The nightmare still continues. After passing through the sewers... Wow, we just entirely skipped the sewer part. After passing through the sewers connected to the water supply installation near the elementary school, I came up in the most popular part of Soylent Hill, the lakeside tourist spot. However, in spite of this, there's no reason to expect anyone to be here. The area is wrapped in darkness and in a condition which it could be impossible to even walk around without a flashlight. First I decide to enter Annie's bar, which lies on the road to the lake. As I approach the door, I notice what sounds like a struggle, coming from the other side. When I open the door, inside, Kaufman is there, Dr. Michael Kaufman. That is certainly what he said his name was. A monster has him cornered. His back is against the wall, the far wall of the bar, and he is out of breath. He did not notice me come into the bar, and looked as if he had lost all hope. I pointed my gun at Kaufman, and then shot him right in the head. The monster. Even after the monster had died, with a cry like a metallic twisting, Kaufman just stared into the air, looking completely worn out. Are you okay? As I spoke to him, he weakly stood up, brushed his pants twice, and then slowly looked toward me. Yeah, I guess so, but I'm beat. I thought I was a goner there. So, how did it go? Did you find a way out? No, not yet. How about you? Zip. But it's too soon to give up. This craziness cannot go on forever. A military rescue squad should be here any minute now. If they come through the town, we're home free. He looked at the darkness outside the window and clenched his fists. I hope so, I say. I'd better get going.
This isn't the time to stand around flapping our gums.
He fixed his collar and then began to walk to the door. He walked as if he were incredibly hungry, and when he reached the door, I asked him the question that had been on my mind quite some time. Kaufman. What? That's none of the, on PS1 it's a mumbler? Oh, okay, so it's a rumper here, but it's a mumbler there, right? The hungry walk, yeah, he looks hungry. I show him a picture of a hamburger. He's like, motherfucker! That's not in the game. There's no option that's like in the game. That's weird, isn't it? Because on PS1 you just ask about Lisa. Do you know a nurse named Lisa? He's like, no. Wait, does he? Man, I haven't seen that cutscene in so long. I don't remember showing a picture. Or sorry, asking about Alessa. Do you know? Does he? Wait, does he actually say Alessa? Wait, I thought it was. Fuck. Why did I think that he was asking about Lisa? Maybe he does say Alessa. Do you know a girl named Alessa? Oh. I don't know why I thought it was Lisa. Okay. Right. Do you know a girl called Alessa? His hand, which he had placed on the doorknob, paused for a moment. Then he looked back at me. No. Kaufman quickly looked back at the door and left as if he were running away. Dr. Michael Kaufman. He definitely has some secret, and that is exactly what he called himself. Yeah, that must be it. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Why, I'm not sure whether it's connected to me rescuing Cheryl or not. He knows the main reason why this town has undergone a transformation. I followed him so that he did not notice me. He races throughout the dark alleys. Perhaps it is because he is familiar with the geography here. The sound of the harsh wind blowing down from the mountains as it cuts through the eaves of the building hides my footsteps and my presence. I continued to carefully tail him, making sure not to lose sight of him. Finally, his small figure opened the door of a certain building and he disappeared inside. He went into a motel, but not into one of the guest rooms. The door he went through is one that is off limits to outsiders and only for use by employees. I pressed down on my heart, which feels like it is going to explode with my left hand open the door that Kaufman just used and head inside. Inside, ancient dust is everywhere, and the room reeks of mildew. It looks to be a garage. Oil, a sprayer, tires, and such have been placed on the dirty metal shelf. That looks wooden. That doesn't look like a metal shelf. Odd. Kaufman is nowhere to be found. There's only one other door in the room, and it is slightly open. He must have went through there into another room. However, I did not go after him right away. Instead, my attention turned to a motorcycle near the wall, and I stopped. The gas tank of the motorcycle differs from the rest of the motorcycle, as it is oddly motorcycle and motorcycle. The motorcycle is so covered in motorcycle dust that it is not possible to even distinguish what color the motorcycle is. But I get the feeling that the motorcycle gas tank area alone has been motorcycle fiddled with by someone. I try gently opening the motorcycle's gas tank. Inside the motorcycle's gas tank, there's a black motorcycle bag that is protecting a small glass bottle. At the moment, I was about to reach out to it, a familiar voice stopped me. Give me that! When I turned Kaufman was just glaring at me, his face white with anger. You know when you have that like white with anger face? His clenched fists are shaking with rage. What is this? Oh no, wait, that's Harry saying it. What is this? That's none of your business. Instead of messing with that, how about coming up with a way to get out of here? Huh? You shouldn't be hanging around goofing off. What do you think you're doing? You want to get yourself killed? Get out of here. Even if he had not said that, I understood. I didn't know just how important the small bottle was to him, but I didn't think that it would help me to find Cheryl. So I gave it to him. Dude, my throat is so fucked. I've been talking for like fucking 4 hours. I cannot.
Oh fuck, dude, it sucks. I just, oh man. That's like the #1 problem with playing this game. My throat just, I can't take it. Because I'm like constantly fucking talking just for like 4 hours. My throat just hurts. Ugh. Okay. Okay, take it easy. Unless you want to die, keep your mind on the business, got it? Saying that, Kaufman acts calm and leaves the garage. I think that guy's got to be involved with the local drug racket. Man, was he pissed. And in such a rush, too. That was probably dope in that bottle. Anyway, better let him do as he pleases. There's more than my life at stake. I guess I just wasted my time. I then realize that I am wasting my time and immediately leave the hotel. The what? The hotel. What am I saying? It's like, I guess I just wasted my time. That's one word. They should have added that. I check the map and then head to the greatest part of this sightseeing area, the lakeside. My visible breath brushes my butt cheeks, drifting in the air as I fart. To mark my trail and then finally becoming one with the fart, the fart around it. And then the area gradually began turning into that nightmarish poop world. I abruptly come to a stop. This time the change is not instant like before. This town, this world seems like it's being dumped out of my butt into a demon's body. And I am filled with poop that there is no going back. Something has changed in a way that cannot be undone. There's a road before me, so I ran along it. That is all I can do. Is there any hope? Is Cheryl alive in this situation in which I cannot be sure of anything? I frequently have to fight off the urge to get sick. However, I believe that I will find something if I continue forward on this road. I run across a pier, and without thinking about it, a wrenched door of a small boat stopped midway along the pier open, and then rushed inside it. There was already a passenger inside the boat. Sybil! Harry? Our voices revealed that we were both relieved. Our voices relieved that we were both revealed. How did you get back here? I followed the sewer. Were you the one who cut the fence? Yeah, I'm glad you make it. I was worried about you. You were worried? Where did you disappear to? Never mind. I want to know what's going on here. What is with this town? I considered all the things that happened to me I condensed all the things that happened to me into one somewhat unclear conclusion. I look at Sybil and began to speak. This may sound really off the wall, but listen to me. You got to believe me. I haven't gone crazy, and I'm not fooling around. At first, I thought I was losing my mind. But now I know I'm not. It's not me. This whole town is being invaded by the other world. By a world of someone's nightmarish delusions come to life. Little by little, the invasion is spreading. trying to swallow up everything in darkness. I think I'm finally beginning to understand what that lady was talking about. Harry, hold on a minute. I don't get it. Look, I don't understand it all myself. I guess I can't explain it. I honestly revealed how I felt. Well, what's making this happen? I don't know that either, but I do know that Cheryl is there. There? Under whoever created this darkness. Cheryl is somewhere, and she needs my help. Once I finished explaining everything, Sybil faintly smiled and looked at me as if she was worried. Harry, this whole thing's been a major blow to you. I think you need another blow, if you know what I'm talking about. This world, its state, and the reason it became like this. Understood, and I wanted Sybil to understand as well. Even though I am a writer. Oh. What the hell is up with that? I don't know why it's doing that. Even though I'm a writer, I am cursed by a limited vocabulary. This is something that upsets me about myself. In other words, I'm very stupid. Sybil, As I was speaking, the door slowly opened and I could see someone enter the room. It was not a monster, but a human. The demon is awakening, spreading those wings. Dahlia Gillespie. Was it not as I said? I see it all now. Yes, everything. Hungry for sacrifice, the demon will swallow up the land. I knew this day would come. And what's more, the task is almost finished. There's only 2 left to seal this town to this abyss. The mark of Samael. When it is completed, all is lost. Even in daytime, darkness will cover the sun. The dead will walk and martyrs will burn in the fires of hell. Everyone will die. So what am I supposed to do? I gotta save Cheryl. It is simple. Stop the demon. That demon that's taking the child's form. Stop it before your daughter becomes a sacrifice. Before it is too late. Stop it. Stop it, stop it. What do I do? Go to the lighthouse on the lake and the center of this amusement park. Make haste. You are the only hope. Look, Harry, I really don't get what's going on, but if there's a chance we can save your daughter, I'm in. I'll check out the amusement park. You go to the lighthouse. Sybil? Ooh. I will go to... I've been following the game. Should I go to the amusement park? I don't know. We'll get fucked up. I've been mostly following the game. Like, as in the PS1 story, but I guess we could check out, like, going to the amusement park, see what happens. Would you guys like to rather see that? Because, we already know what happens if we go to the lighthouse. I'm assuming it's just gonna be the same shit. So we could go to the amusement park, I don't mind. As usual, I pretended to go along with what Sybil is saying, and nodded. I cannot let Sybil go alone. Even if she's a cop, it would be terrible if something were to happen to her while she is trying to help my daughter. I waited for a little bit, and then headed after Sybil. I decided that I would always go to the lighthouse later. I could always go to the lighthouse later. Within a current of guessing what that raced by like a revolving lantern, I ran toward the amusement park. I arrive at the amusement park by going through the sewers in the amusement park, which has changed to the form of the other world. Several of the attractions run constantly as if they were broken toys. I pass by the Ferris wheel and arrive at the merry-go-round. However, only this attraction is not running. While it's only natural for a ride to not be in operation, it seems unnatural for this merry-go-round to not be running. I walk around it. Clink, smash, smash, and clink. While slipping between the horses, I look for... While slipping between the horses, I look for Sybil. Quite a bit of time has passed since she came here. I suppose maybe she didn't find Cheryl and headed back to that ship, but the only way to get here is through those sewers. If she had gone back, then we should have ran across each other at some point. I think what happens here is like, you don't really go there instead of Sybil, you're just skipping the entire lighthouse part. I think it just makes it shorter, probably. I don't think this is like actually like a major change, because you're just sort of secretly following Sybil by the looks of it. Huh? What's this? I slowly kneel down and try touching it. The dark green liquid is still warm. Something moved through here, and if this trail is traced, it will lead back to the source of the liquid. And then, in the darkness, I see Sybil from behind. Sybil? I try calling out to her. Only the low sound of her motor of the Ferris wheel echoes from afar. She should be able to hear me. I take another look at her. She slowly stood up from the wheelchair. Odd. I do not see the brave attitude that was present in her just before. She walks as if something has drained her life out of her, like she's wandering about for no reason. I approach her and call out to her once more. As I do this, Sybil staggers as she slowly turns and confirms my presence. And then, as if I'm watching her in slow motion, she raises her right arm until it is parallel with the ground, and then a bullet fires from the handgun she is holding. Where did she get that gun from? Sybil, it's me, it's Harry. I know, said Sybil. The bullet grazes my shoulder, and with a discordant metallic sound it hits one of the wooden horses. She's coming towards me. No, because when you're playing the Sybil scenario, you're trying to use the gun and she's like, oh wait, never mind, I gave it to Harry. So, I don't know where that's from. Her eyes no longer appear to be human. The eerie red color of her eyes does not make it look like her life force had been drained, but instead it makes it appear as if she had been possessed by some evil being. Maybe she went back to like her bike and then there's like a backup pistol or something, I don't know. I was too late. I think her heart had been devoured by someone. No, by Alessa. What is there is no longer Sybil, just an alter ego of Alessa that is using Sybil's body. At that time, I remembered. I searched my pockets. Got it! The pet bottle. The vermilion liquid is inside it. I scooped it up in the hospital. The red of Sybil's eyes looked a lot like the red of that liquid. I hold up the pet bottle so that Sybil can see it and shake it left and right. And then just for a moment, her expression changed to one of imploring. She must be aware, but she seems to be caught on an edge in her body. Her body that will not do her bidding. It is like she's being attracted to me. Ooh. Is this turning into a fanfic? With her gun ready, Sybil approaches. Upon closer inspection, I can see that her eyes are full of tears. I unscrew the cap of the pet bottle. No one is riding the wooden horses, so their speed increases. I think that it is like time is rapidly passing for everything but the two of us. At the same time as the hammer falls in Sybil's gun, with a click, I sprinkle the liquid in the pet bottle on Sybil without leaving a drop inside. Goo! Sybil tries to speak, and her face twists agonizingly. At the same time, white smoke rises from her entire body, and gravity pulls her to the ground, face down. And then, a creepy creature that is shaped like a human organ burrows up out of Sybil's back and approaches my feet. I forcefully crush it under my foot with all my might. Sybil, wake up! Snap out of it! Sybil doesn't respond. Sybil! After a bit, Sybil opened her eyes. Her eyes are a calm blue. Harry? What happened? Why did you crush my liver? Shh! Don't talk. I'll take care of you. A look of relief appears on her face, and then she closes her eyes again. Once I am done binding her wound, I close my eyes as well and place my hand on Sybil's shoulder. Harry? Why did they take your daughter? Why her? I'm not sure myself. But you know, Cheryl isn't my biological daughter. I actually haven't told her yet. She probably already knows anyway, though. We found her abandoned on the side of the highway. She was still a baby and nobody knew where she came from. We didn't have any kids of our own. My wife was sick, and it didn't look like she was getting any better, so we took her in. So in that case, there might be some connection between Cheryl and this town. So what do you do now? Cheryl is my daughter. I will save her no matter what. I slowly opened my eyes. And then, just as I predicted, she appeared. Alessa, the girl that wrapped up this town and its residents in her other world. That girl carefully formed her body from out of light and appeared in front of me. I began to talk to that demon. I figured you'd choke. Hold it right there. I don't know who you are and what you're trying to do, and I don't care. Just one thing. Let Cheryl go. That's all I ask for. Before I finished speaking, Alessa raised her right hand toward the sky, and then she brings her arm down. My entire body is blown backwards. My body tumbles across the ground like a rag for about 30 feet, and then it makes that weird sound, bloop, 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 and I go, damn. Finally comes to rest. Damn! Such incredible power. A servant of God, a demon's power. A normal person like me has no chance against her. Power is gushing out of her body and it emits a pale light. I cannot even approach her. Huh? What's this? Suddenly a blinding light emits from my pocket. It is that four-sided object, the Florus. Hold on. What was that? Light shoots out in a straight line from each of the points of its triangle and eventually it rises into the air. Just as I thought, that the great light and sound it was wrapped in meant that its power was greater than Alessa's. The power of the Florus condensed became a beam of light and pierced Alessa's body. Just as I was just before, Alessa was blown backwards by that power, which she could not overcome. Where's Cheryl? Give me back my daughter. I was on the verge of passing out, and I thought of Cheryl. All I can do is calmly look at the unbelievable sight before me as it unfolds before my eyes. What just happened? Is Cheryl okay? However, she does not answer me. Instead, a hoarse voice passes into my thoughts, and it is accompanied by the sound of footsteps. We meet at last, Alessa. Dolly Gillespie? The Dolly Gillespie llama? Unable to move from my prone position, I thought about whose voice that was. And then, using all my strength, I stand. After confirming that it was Dahlia in front of me, I spoke in a voice that was nearly a yell. Where's Cheryl? Where is she? Dahlia does not hear me yelling. She does not look back and looks at Alessa with a creepy smile. Alessa, this is the end of your little game. Mama? Mother? I am confused. Huh? Could she be nobody? You've been a ghastly little pest, haven't you, Alessa? I was careless, thinking you couldn't escape from our spell. But Mommy didn't know how much you'd grown. That's why I couldn't catch you all by myself. But what a pity, yes?
Now you're half indebted to this man for his help. Hey, what are you talking about? My voice just echoes emptily in the darkness. Alessa, my dear little girl, there's one thing left I need you to do for me. No, get away from me. Bad girl. Everything is ready. Let's go home now. Wait, what about Cheryl? Just where is she? Give me back my daughter. My daughter, Cheryl? Give me back. My daughter, Cheryl. Where is she? Give me back my daughter. Lisa? What happened? Where's Alessa and Dahlia? Harry, since before I went to check out the basement, like you said. Lisa? I was on the verge of passing out, but now I'm slowly getting more and more wide awake. Lisa? You went to check out the basement? Yes, even though I was told never to go there. It was on my mind. I swallow hard. Lisa? Or Harry? Let's change the subject. I sensed that Lisa seemed to be having a hard time talking about what we were discussing, so I changed the subject. Oh yeah, hey Lisa, I met this man named Kaufman in the hospital not too long ago. He said that he was a doctor in the hospital, but do you know him? Lisa raised her head in surprise and her eyes opened wide, and then she let out a long sigh. Yes, for a long time I thought there was something strange about it. Lately, especially that I just adjusted my sitting position and looked at Lisa as if I could see through her. Okay. Especially, I'm working as his assistant at this hospital. As for what is in any room, I should know better than him. I must know better. But when I learned that this hospital had a basement by strange chance, he suddenly got angry and told me to never go near there. I was scared, so I never brought that subject up again. But then he changed. It wasn't just the way he treated me, but he was also irritated with everyone else, and no one wanted to go near him. That was around last summer. I quietly listened to Lisa's story. After that, he began saying things that did not make a lot of sense. Things like, "This is the end of end of this world," and descent, and so on. Stuff like that. Sounded like weird religious terms. That all humans would disappear from the world and only he would survive. That the landscapes seen by our eyes were all false. He said nothing but things like that. And then he killed himself. I was stunned. Suicide? Yes, he set himself on fire. The body was unidentifiable. I pressed my hands down on my trembling legs. That's impossible. I just met Kaufman and spoke with him not long ago. Just who was that man? Lisa looks amazed and smiles. Wait, what? Hold on. And smiles. Is that word? I think that word is Polish. It's got too many W's and Y's in it. That has to be Polish. Smiles while, hold on, shaking her head from side to side. It was Kaufman, Dr. Michael Kaufman. I guess he didn't die after all. There were too many mysteries surrounding his death, and even the police were troubled by it. With no real proof, they concluded that it was suicide. I took a deep breath. Kaufman was alive. Maybe he switched the bodies. Perhaps I mistook the man. No. Yes, Kaufman was alive. Maybe he switched the bodies. Maybe he switched the bodies? I don't know. But people have come forth to that say that they have seen him recently. On top of that, they said it was inside his hospital. Inside this hospital. I was at a loss for words. Don't tell me that even you have had contact with him. I recall my conversation with him. A dream? No, I don't think that was a dream. So he is in the basement? I thought that as well, so I fearfully went down to the basement. But after moving just a bit forward, I turned back, just thinking about him. Being alive in that darkness was too dreadful. As Lisa said, there's a tear rolled down her cheek, her butt cheek. I placed my hand on Lisa's shoulders and made up my mind. Like I have told you before, I am looking for my daughter, Cheryl. I don't know who this Kaufman guy really is, but does he know something about the change in this town? Lisa doesn't answer. Lisa, come with me to the basement. That might be where Cheryl is being held. Even if Cheryl is not there, if we find Kaufman, then we might be able to talk to him. Lisa thought for a bit and slightly nodded. Okay, let's go then. Using the flashlight to light our way, Lisa and I walked downstairs and headed to the storehouse in the basement. We entered the hidden room in the back of the storehouse and opened the heavy iron gate in the center. Lisa headed in first and I followed behind her. It's cold, Lisa mumbles to herself. It seemed as if we had ended up lost in a giant refrigerator. I couldn't imagine that a person could live down here. I thought about that again. If Cheryl is being held down here, my body trembled. Metal door. We finally reached the end of the passage. A solid-looking metal door towers in front of us. I have never gone any farther than this. Lisa's voice was shaking as she spoke. Lisa and I looked at each other and lightly nodded. Then I placed my hand on the handle of the door. The skin of the palm of my hand was so frozen by the cold metal that I thought that my hand would get stuck to the handle. Lisa took a step back. I looked at the door, put my weight onto the hands, and opened the door. Open with one pull. The door opened with a thunk. Beyond it, a passage no different than the one we had just followed extended. Complete darkness. It is completely pitch black in there, and without my flashlight, it seems that it would be utterly impossible to continue forward. I cannot understand why someone made this space so deep in the hospital basement. Look, Lisa said. Lisa? What's wrong? Wait a minute, Harry. There's something drawn on the wall. I stopped and shined the flashlight on the wall that Lisa was pointing at. This is... A familiar crest was drawn there. Does this mean something... Lisa, since you have not left the hospital, you wouldn't know, but this crest has been drawn all throughout the town. Have you not seen it before? Lisa looked surprised and muttered, Nope. That crest was also drawn on the floor. Upon closer inspection, I found that the mark had been inscribed in places all throughout this passage. The mark of Samael. I recall that is what Dahlia called it. And then my body trembled. Alessa? Is Alessa here? In this area? What did you just say? For an instant... What? For an instant, we looked each other in the faint light that was lighting the darkness. What? What did you just say? I said, is Alessa here? Lisa's face suddenly twisted in anger. Why do you know about her? No one should have told you. I was thrown off balance by Lisa's sudden rage. I saw her several times before I met you. She called Dahlia Mama. Are those two mother and daughter? Lisa looked down and her shoulders shook with anger. I had no idea why. What in the world? Just what is wrong with you? I can no longer trust anyone. Lisa? I only did as I was told. Like a true believer, obedient to the scripture, I continued even though I lost everything. What are you talking about? However, after all this, there's no such thing as God. There are only ugly humans ruled by desire. Lisa said that and then forcefully pounded on the wall. So you know something. Won't you tell me, please? Lisa? Lisa smiles a bit, and then a creepy expression appears on her face. You too. You are the same as them, aren't you? Thinking that you know everything, even now. I'll show her the diary. Here, look at this. Lisa suspiciously snatches it. April 15th. From today, this will be my new diary. We've already read this. Lisa raises her head in surprise, and I ask her a question. They? Do you mean the ones written about in there? Where on earth did you get this? In Alessa's room. So she kept a diary. She even wrote about me. Lisa smiled a bit. Anyway, are they the people that Alessa wrote about in there? Lisa, please tell me what you know. Before I finish talking, Lisa shakes her head back and forth. It's fine, I was used by that man. I know that. Maybe you are in cahoots with him, or maybe you were used as well. I don't care. Now that I know, I will have my revenge. I continue to believe that she was really Alessa. I never thought that even that was a lie. Used or not, I don't know what you're talking about. Lisa shakes in amazement. Amazement? And then Lisa's face twisted in amazement. No, don't come. I only did what I was told. Lisa's sight was fixed on something behind me. Lisa? Why have you come for me? Shouldn't you be going after someone else? You have no reason to have a grudge against me. I timidly turn around, and at that moment, I knew I fucked up. The flashlight went out, and the area was wrapped in absolute darkness. Kia! A scream echoed off the concrete walls. There's no mistaking, it was Lisa's. Something is here. I've not heard Lisa since she screamed, but I can hear a low howling and an unpleasant sound that sounds like something crunching on something. It is coming from somewhere very close to me. Move toward the direction that the sound is coming from, immediately get away. Lisa? There's no response. Every now and then, an uncomfortably warm liquid splashes on my arm. It is sticky and smells like blood, and is extremely unpleasant. Take a few steps back, and then I decide to try getting away. After a few steps, I have no idea of which way I came from. Even so, I continued to run. I tried mindlessly fiddling with the switch on my flashlight. It only makes a clicking sound, and there's no sign that it will turn on. All I can do is run blindly. Those unintelligible things that Lisa kept babbling about. Lisa's attitude suddenly changed at the moment I said Alessa's name. In cahoots? One of them? I don't understand. It is that I too am being controlled by someone? What was it that was behind me? What was that existence that frightened Lisa that much? And where is Cheryl? I don't know anything anymore. If what Lisa said was true, then Kaufman might be somewhere down here in this basement. He's said to have killed himself. However, I just saw him in the bar, and we spoke. At the moment I found the small bottle in the gas tank of the motorcycle, he gave me a furious look and yelled at me. There's no doubt he's alive, and he must know something, an essential key regarding what is wrong with this town and the Alessa's existence. Thud. I ran right into the wall in front of me. Oh hey, he bonked the wall, nice. Bounced off it and fell backwards. Ouch! And then, by chance, my light begins to pour out from the flashlight. I rubbed the area around my lower back, stood up, and then shined the light on the... Now hold on a second, like, this fucking thing's been going on and off constantly. It's really annoying, like, yes, like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but, like, my chat keeps disconnecting. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm gonna... Hold on. Like, my chat's already disconnected like 3 times. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Stop pushing me!
The mark of Samael was drawn very large on the door. It has the power to deny the invasion of heretics. I shined the light around the area, but the circumstances are unexplainable. I was trapped inside of a cramped cube about 2 meters across. The path I run through to get here has suddenly vanished. In order to escape, I can only open this heavy door. I was no longer surprised, or rather, my mind was paralyzed, and I was no longer able to be surprised. Perhaps saying it like that is the best. Should be... and... what? What should be and what should not be have become reversed. Open the door. Let my body go with the flow. What the fuck? Just open the door. Place my hand on the door. It opens much easier than I thought it would. An entrance to the deepest area. Dazzling light escapes from the inside. I place my hands over my face and squint. But it was already too late. My body bounced like a ball and smashed into the face of the rock, several meters behind me. The vehicle that hit me crashed through the guardrail and fell down the side of the cliff. After seeing that, my mind completely shut down and all the elements that formed me returned to nothingness. That's it. That's cool. Yeah, interesting. I guess we didn't make it to the end, I suppose. I even collected the juice, and it didn't help. Fuck. Oh, whatever. I really need to go to the bathroom, but I want to see like what kind of cards I've gotten. If I got any cards at all. Oh, I got a Lisa card. That's it? Oh, okay, I got a mumbler. Okay, there's still a lot left. Alright, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and my voice cannot take any more of this, so I'm gonna switch over to Gothic 2.
Oh my god. Throat. Gone. Done. Can't do anymore. Also, I think this game works a lot better in like shorter bursts, so I'll play it more some other time. I was actually gonna play it a lot more soon than 1.5 months, but I kind of forgot about it if I'm being honest, so yeah. Kinda forgot it existed.